There are many kinds of philes in the world. Cinephiles, lover of films. Pyramidophiles, lovers of pyramids. And of course, pedophiles, lovers of cycling. Today we're not talking about any of these files, but rather an entirely new species called the Waltophile. Waltophile sightings have been popping up all over the internet since a new installment of their beloved franchise was released. For you see, Waltophiles love one thing more than anything else in the world. And that one thing is called Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh shit, I mean the Walten Files. It's the Walten Files. They're Waltophile because of the Walten Files.
And who are you now?
I am Bon the Hare.
Who you gonna call when you want pizza there? Who you gonna call when games are there? Who you gonna call when there's an animatronic bear? Come down to Freddy Fazbear Pizza Fred Bear.
You are beautiful.
The Walten Files is an analog horror series from Martin Paredes or Martin Walls, I don't know which, it doesn't matter. It tells the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, except not at all like Five Nights at Freddy's. It tells the tragic story of Bon's Burgers, a restaurant founded by Jack Walten and Felix Kranken. And yes, Bon's Burgers features animatronics, old 70s animatronics no less. But you see, this series isn't called the Bon's Burgers Files, no, it's called the Walten Files, because it is in large part about the Walten family, Jack Walten and Rose Walten, the parents, and their three children, Sophie, Ed, and Molly. Don't get me wrong, Bon's Burgers, the animatronics, the people that work there, they play an important role in the story, but the stuff that got me excited about this series all had to do with the Walten family, and it's time for me to make a confession. I have been an avid analog horror viewer for years at this point since I was in high school, and when I first saw the Walten Files, I thought it was lame and stupid. I thought the animatronic designs were overly scary. I didn't like how they overused the dumb, creepy face thing that so many analog horror series use. I thought the framing device with this guy Anthony talking about how he found the tapes in the description of the videos, I thought that was just broadly kind of dumb, and by the most recent episode, that gets completely dropped, which I'm happy about. And then, of course, I think the first two episodes look a bit silly. Not bad. It's definitely charming in its own way, but it's definitely not like great or spooky. I didn't find the series at all scary, like in any way, shape, or form, so I just didn't really know what I was getting out of it. But recently, since I started talking about analog horror on the channel, the Walten Files is probably tied for the most recommended series I get in the comment section. It's that and the Glendale Archives, which I'm sure we'll do at some point. And man, thank God people were recommending this series, because going through it was a fucking trip and a half. I gotta say, not only is the story really engaging and I really connected and felt for a lot of these characters, but the improvements that were made from episode to episode, the artistry on display as the series carries along, it's fucking amazing. By the time we get to the last episode of the Walten Files, it's basically turned into a feature film. Like, I'm not kidding. This most recent episode, Faces of Grief, is one of the best analog horror things I've ever seen. It is heartbreaking, it's terrifying, it's incredible. So I'll say it, I'm a Waltophile now, and by the end of this video, I aim to make you a Waltophile too if you're not already. Let's put ourselves on the Waltophile registry together and see what this series has in store. I'm still gonna joke around about it though, alright? Nothing's off limits. Well, some stuff's off limits, but nothing's off limits. Tape 1, 1982 company introductory tape. There's footage of a rabbit. Remember this, it will come up again later. See, what did I tell you? There's the rabbit again. 15 seconds in and we already got a setup and payoff. He's looking a little, I don't know, fucked up feels like too strong of a term, but just off. He's got a funny little mouth. I kind of like him. So we're starting off with an employee training tape. But before we get into all that work stuff, we get a nice little show from our favorite Bon's Burgers animatronics.
And on that farm he had some pigs.
These are the showstoppers. Bon, Shaw, Boozoo and Banny, a computer-animated band made by BSI to entertain children.
Wow, I have a million questions already. Why does this rabbit have razor-sharp teeth? Why did the narrator call them a computer-animated band? I thought they were animatronics. And why would you use real pig sounds in Old MacDonald instead of just saying oink? Kids are supposed to sing along to that. Do you want them going like that? They can't do that. They're kids. Say oink. Now, full disclosure, I go into these series completely blind, and the Walten Files was no exception. I don't read wikis or other people's theories or stuff like that. I try to avoid them. So I don't know if this computer animated band thing was retconned, but it doesn't really come up again. Yeah, there's like a TV show for the Bonsburgers characters and stuff like that, but this feels weird and out of place already. It does kind of get dropped as the series goes along because, of course, the animatronics are there. They sing and dance. Why do we need this whole thing with like a TV that shows them singing and dancing? Doesn't that just make stuff confusing? And the answer is yes, and that's kind of why this plot point was dropped as the series carried along. And boy, oh boy, are we off to a great start here. And it's only gonna get better because these animatronic designs, all right, especially Bond with the razor sharp teeth, this is one of the main things that turned me away from the Walten Files when I started watching it way back in the day. The point of animatronics to me in spooky series like this is that they're uncanny and creepy, but they are meant to appeal to children. Having a rabbit with razor sharp teeth, in my mind, completely abandons that. There's no way that would appeal to a child that's like 5. But of course, we know why Bond has these scary sharp teeth, why Shaw has like a wolf's mouth. It's because it's more scarier. And look, I'm not gonna pretend that an animatronic having teeth that are too sharp is going to completely ruin the story being told. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that I think these designs are pretty good, but they would be better if they just dropped that intentionally scary shit and leaned into the uncanny. I mean, look at this side by side, okay? Look, scary sharp teeth, no scary sharp teeth. Bond is still creepy, but he's a little bit more believable. That's all I'm asking for, all right? And like I said, this doesn't ruin the series. If you like these designs, that's perfectly fine. I like these designs. I just wish there were little tweaks to them. That's all I gotta say on it. Little criticism, we'll move on. After learning about the caretaker's duties, we are then given a message from the founders.
In BSI, the most important thing to us isn't the money or the ratings. The most important thing to us is that you have a wonderful experience while working with us. That being said, with the Bond's Burgers restaurant getting opened in a few weeks, we're looking forward to achieving this dream with you.
He forgot to put an R in forward. Oh, and I like this little guy here giving me a thumbs up too. That's great. He's great. No weird wolf teeth in sight. That's great. Then we are greeted by this green-tinted nightmare of an image with a wall of text. This is the facility that the facility caretaker will be taking care of. It's a goddamn fallout shelter in the middle of the forest. This storage facility is made specifically for props, animatronics, and all other things from the 1974 Bond's Burgers location that was closed down after the incidents. Ooh, spooky. What do you want to bet we're gonna learn about those incidents in 1974? Could it be the bite of 74? The bite of 74? Could it be the bite of 74? Could you imagine applying for a job at like Chuck E. Cheese and they're like, all right, you're hired. You aren't working at the restaurant though. You are going to the bomb shelter in the woods and you're gonna look over all the old shit that we don't use anymore because something horrible happened. You know, actually, now that I think about it, I know so many people that are like, oh, I hate customer service. I hate having to deal with customers. This would probably be a highly sought after job in this day and age, at least for some of the people I know. They're like, you telling me I don't gotta talk to anyone and I get to be in a shack in the woods and wilderness? That's great. Fresh air? You kidding me? That's awesome. And I can have headphones in. I can listen to a Mr. Cow video while I work. That's awesome. Of course, the downside of going to the Bond's Burgers K9 storage facility is that the animatronics are almost definitely possessed. Sorry, spoiler alert, it's based on Five Nights at Freddy's. What'd you think was gonna happen? It's not safe. What the fuck did you just say to me, you little bunny fuck? And which guy are you? I didn't see you in the showstopper introduction. Are you Bond's son or something? Are you this universe's Scrappy-Doo? Oh, I see. He's speaking in backwards tongue. If I spin it back around the other way, it sounds like this.
You finally start to remember. That's all ball. They will be back for you soon. Sophie.
Interesting. Of course, he could just as well be saying Taco Bell instead of Don't Go Back at this one point, but I think the important thing is this little fella is given some kind of cryptic warning to somebody. Perhaps the newly hired technician or caretaker? It's hard to say right now, especially since this is followed by something completely different. An animated show featuring the Showstoppers.
For this sleepover, he invited Shah, Boozoo, and Billy. Let's check again in case we don't forget any guests. Bond invited Shah, Bozu, and...
Whoa there, wait a minute. Who the fuck invited Billy? Bond's just inviting whoever to this fucking party. First Scrappy Doo, now Pennywise. And if that weren't enough, he's invited some kind of human man with long hair as well. Hey, we saw a human man with long hair earlier, and he's one of the founders of Bond's Burgers. And spoiler alert, his name is Jack Walten. That other fella is Felix Kranken, but Felix is notably absent from Bond's party list. How curious.
Bond spent all his money on a really funny movie, which he hopes all of his friends will enjoy and will laugh with little Bond.
Oh shit, they're watching the Walten Files in the Walten Files. How about that? Also, why does Bond keep a bottle of lotion on top of his TV? Just kidding, I know, for coming. Also, looky there, yet another Easter egg. A bottle of pills that belongs to Sophie Walten. Now, why would that be there? This is all gonna be really important later, and it's my first big praise of the Walten Files, really. The fact that the stuff in this first episode is paid off later, and it's majorly important. That little gray rabbit, majorly important. These pills, majorly important. Jack Walten, yeah, pretty fucking important. It's all being teased here, set up here, and it will pay off later, and that is just great. I love to see it. The showstoppers and miscellaneous enjoy their film and then head off to bed, but Bond suddenly wakes up and walks through the dark house towards the living room, where he finds this. So Jack Walten is missing. He's one of the founders of this company, and the showstoppers watch a movie about him that says, "Let me out of here." The answer is as clear as day. He's trapped in the TV on the PBS channel. He's stuck possessing an episode of Martha Speaks, that show about a dog that eats soup and learns words. Okay. Bond finds a lighter, and when they flip it on, the scene suddenly changes, revealing a little dude clad in red with the Bond animatronics standing behind them. How ominous. I wonder if this is perhaps hinting at what's coming next. The very next scene shows a caretaker heading into the K9 facility. God damn it. Now, like I said earlier, this place is filled with relics from the Bond's Burgers location that permanently closed in 1974. Something happened, we don't know what, but it's safe to say it had something to do with Jack Walten because he's been popping up all over the fucking place. Once the caretaker is inside the facility, they see various photos hung on the walls. The place really looks like a rundown family restaurant on the inside, and then he sees the main attraction. Ooh, so there's something or someone inside of Bond. At least that's what I'm reading with the whole human eyes appearing inside the mask. The caretaker runs away at the sight of Bond and is eaten like an apple. At least that's what it sounds like to me.
What was that thing?
Ooh, that's not good. I don't have anything to compare this to, but I'm guessing this is not how this fella usually looks. He says he can't feel anything, no kidding, and that he thought I was her. Now, who is the one lady, the one her, as it were, that we've heard of so far? The sheep animatronic? Nah, I don't think that's it, but good try. Sophie Walten's the lady I'm thinking of, the girl with the big old bottle of pills. I think Bond thought the caretaker was Sophie Walten. That's what I think the changing faces were meant to represent. It's Bond trying to remember Sophie's face, but it can't quite do it, so it's just cycling through different head shapes. We then see the caretaker's ID card, and his name was Brian Stells. Oh, so he did get mangled by Bond. He didn't always look like a pile of children's crayon drawings. Sorry, it's okay. What do you want me to say? He's a cute little guy, all right? But yeah, I mean, it looks like a children's drawing. What do you want from me? It's a style thing. It's not an insult. I don't mind it. The last thing we see is a picture of a man with long hair, huge eyebrows, and a humongous nose with a fucked up row of teeth. Looks like a humanoid Muppet, this guy. And this is likely Jack Walten, the long-haired guy we saw throughout this installment. And that is tape 1. Little rough around the edges, but still pretty neat. I think the main question right now is, who is possessing Bond? I think the easy answer is Jack Walten, but if it's Jack, does that mean he wanted to kill his own daughter because he thought the caretaker was Sophie? It's only the first episode, so I'm not gonna throw out any big guesses right now. What we know though is that something happened in 1974 that closed Bond's Burgers, Jack Walten went missing, Sophie likes pills, and Bond is killing people that look like Sophie. That's what we got. On to the next. Oh yeah, and Brian's dead.
I'm afraid that our Brian is dead.
Tape 2 takes place in 1978, and it's all about the Bond's Burgers relocation project. That's right, time to leave the past in the past and look forward into the future by opening a new restaurant.
Hello, BSI members and employees, and welcome to the tape that will change the future of the Bond's Burgers brand and the Bunny Smiles company for the better. That's right, after 4 long years of legal paperwork, we finally decided to use our backup plan, which we created after the tragic closure of Bond's Burgers back on July 20th, 1974. Ladies and gentlemen, we now present to you the Relocate Project.
Damn, every iteration of Bond other than the animatronic is just so cute and so charming. The animatronic, it's creepy, I don't care for it, but these little guys, come on, they're great. Now, we see a filing cabinet during this segment, and noticeably Jack Walten's name is plastered on the Bond's Burgers file, and the drawer itself, but after his disappearance, everything is labeled as Felix's, the co-founder of Bond's. Which makes sense. Jack disappears, Felix takes over his duties. Felix wants to carry on making Bond's Burgers, but his overall plan is hard to decipher because one of the files is censored with a black box. Now, what is it Felix is planning to do with this relocation project by taking the old animatronics from the storage facility to a new location? It could be something innocent, right? It could just be franchising or expanding, but why is this last step censored? If you ask me, which you definitely shouldn't, I think that Felix is planning on taking this family-friendly establishment and turning it into something much more adult. Picture it. Hooters, but with animatronics. Just picture it, all right? Bond with huge milkers in a that seats 4? I mean, who wouldn't want that? I know I do.
Many of you might have known from previous tapes, our beloved entertainers were safely secured in St. Juana's storage facility some months after the restaurant's closure.
Excuse me, what the fuck is that thing? Is this supposed to be Jack Walten? Or is the driver just kind of spooky looking? I have no idea. Are they saying like, oh, if you transport the animatronics, you're transporting Jack too? Is that to say Jack's inside Bond? That, let me just say right now, the idea of Jack being inside Bond, you would think that makes perfect sense, right? If you've never seen this before, you're like, that checks out. As this series carries along though, that does not check out as much, and you'll see why. It's a tough fucking question trying to figure out what this rabbit's deal is and what Jack Walten's deal is.
Later on, a good amount of business opportunities appeared, such as books, merch, animated movies. We even got a TV show. That's when Felix Kranken had the brilliant idea of restore and reprogram the robots of Bond's Burgers with the purpose of relocating them in a new restaurant that would be opened in a not-so-distant future. A pretty smart plan, right? Making enough money to eventually reopen the Bond's Burgers restaurant is no doubt a brilliant idea. So let's give it up for Felix Kranken, a man with not only a giant brain, but also a giant heart.
Oh my god, I love this so much already. The picture of Jack and Felix from before has been edited to show just Felix. The tape is praising Felix, even though he probably had a hand in making it. And then we just see Jack standing there in the void. Oh, it's so good. I love his face in this one too. I love these little drawings in this episode, man. They're great. But why is Felix seemingly wiping everything that had to do with Jack Walten off the record when it comes to Bond's Burgers? Did Jack do something bad? And is Felix just trying to keep the brand alive now that it's been successful outside of the restaurant space? Or did Felix do something to Jack, which led to him going missing so that Felix could take full control of the company? It's hard to say now, I'm just speculating, but I hope if you're new to the Walten Files, or if you're like me and weren't into it at first, I hope you just see how much things have improved from episode 1 to episode 2 already, not just in terms of presentation, but in terms of storytelling too. My mind is racing with ideas and theories, and we've barely even gotten started. No wonder so many people love this series. We then get a presentation on how the reprogramming of the animatronics is going to work, featuring Banny, the purple rabbit, but something's not quite right with her. Oh Oh no, there's a person inside that there rabbit. Someone called PETA. Now, one thing that I feel isn't explored enough in FNAF and adjacent series is the existential horror that the spirits possessing the animatronics experience. It's something Urban Finds at Freddy's did well, and it's something the Walten Files tackles here as well. We see Banny trying to escape this room, but she can't.
The mighty rabbit must get out. The mighty rabbit needs to get out. The mighty rabbit needs to get out. The rabbit is starving. The rabbit is starving. The rabbit is starving. Is starving. Is starving. Is starving. Is starving. Is starving.
Now see, that to me is 1,000 times scarier and more uncomfortable than a disfigured face with a loud noise playing over it. The idea that someone was killed and is trapped in a suit, yet they still feel hunger, thirst, and pain, but there's nothing they can do about it, that's fucking horrifying. And it's moments like these where I feel the Walten Files is at its best. It's at its worst when it's doing stuff like this. Every once in a while, these might get a little jump out of me. Every once in a while, they might make me laugh hysterically as well, which you'll see later in this video. But most of the time, I just feel nothing. And I feel like this series would be far better without moments like these. And granted, the stuff with the disfigured faces does kind of come up in the story later. It's never really explained. We haven't gotten to that part yet, I guess. But it just doesn't work for me. I mean, this is just Banny. We've seen her. It's not scary just because it's closer to the screen and louder. I find the next image with the purple rabbit in the cage infinitely more creepy and unsettling. This isn't like in the first tape when we see the shifting faces with the creepy noises playing, because that was seemingly giving us a clue as to what Bon was seeing. Here, it's just Banny, and it sucks, and it's annoying. But anyways, this segment is followed by a very dark image of a missing person poster. It's hard to decipher, but clearly this isn't the same Jack Walten missing person poster we saw before. It seems someone else has gone missing, which begs the question, what kind of fucked up burger joint are you running, Bon? I haven't seen one burger or french fry this entire time. Meanwhile, I've seen 2 missing people and a murder.
Welcome to technical support. Today we will focus on the area tour and orientation inside K9, the Bunny Smile storage facility.
Shaw is instructing the caretakers to pack up all their equipment so they can take care of their duties at the K9 facility. If a new Bon's Burgers is gonna open, then they're gonna need the Bon's Burgers animatronics, and they're in there, so get packing.
Let's check the items you will require for your job at K9. Lantern? Check. Snacks? Check. Key? Check. Camera? Check.
Hey, that wasn't on the list, Bon. What kind of trick are you trying to pull here? You trying to sneak Jack Walten into the facility with you, Bon? You trying to smuggle him in yourself? Why? Why would you do that, Bon the Hare? Bringing Jack into the K9 facility with you? Oh, wait. All right, there's 2 ways we can read this. Either this is saying Bon is possessed by Jack, or Jack is possessing the backpack. I mean, what the hell else is it supposed to mean? If it's not saying Bon has Jack Walten inside him, then what is it? Just a meaningless cameo by Jack's head in the backpack? I know I'm being like a bit defensive here, but while writing this video, I've now seen a handful of arguments on Twitter about whether or not Jack is Bon. And you'll see why people are uncertain of this as the video carries along, but to me at this point, this seems to be sending a pretty clear message. Bon turns around to look at the camera along with Jack as he peeks out of the backpack. I think this is saying these two are connected. It feels like the obvious answer, but like I said, as this series carries along, I really started to doubt the fact that Jack Walten was inside Bon despite scenes like this, despite other suggestions like in the first tape. And while that might sound like a complaint or an issue, I'll be honest, I think it's one of the best parts of the Walten Files. The fact that you can't really piece together who Bon is, even by the time we get to the last tape, even though it seems obvious right now that it's Jack Walten. As this story continues, just like me, I am certain you will doubt that Jack Walten could be Bon, because we get to know him, you'll get to see him, and let's just say, in real life, Jack Walten sure as hell don't have a lot in common with Bon. But anyways, Shaw is showing us around the facility, and we are once again greeted with some backwards talk. When it's flipped around the right way, it says this.
Rosemary would go to the restaurant every night
night hoping that his beloved husband would reappear after being missing for weeks, but no response until one day she heard a voice saying, "I know where she is, Rosie," coming from the backstage.
Aha! Rosemary, as in Rose Walten, wife of Jack Walten. She was looking for him and was lured backstage one day at the restaurant by a mysterious voice. The plot is beginning to thicken, like me after ordering Taco Bell. Shaw continues to show us around, but then she finds herself in the same room we were just in, and it's here that things become a little more clear.
How odd. I remember we visited this room already.
Sophie, where am I?
Listen.
Holy shit, this sheep knows Sophie, the pill girl! I think it's pretty clear Shaw is Rose at this point, but this next bit really makes it clear. Like, really. Like, it's super spelled out and just a little bit silly.
By the time the lady entered the backstage as the voice told her to, missing husband wasn't there. Instead, she found a rap. Rose broken will fix you. You will beautiful. You will beautiful. You will beautiful.
When she woke up, she looked beautiful, but on the inside,
Every single part of her body was bleeding out.
Okay, lot to unpack there, but I gotta say the way Rose gets stuffed into the Shaw suit is weirdly cute and kind of funny. I know it's awful, alright, a woman was just murdered, but come on, look at the way Bond's sliding around. It's adorable. So Bond lured Rose to the back, promised to make her beautiful, and then cut her up and shoved her in the suit. To borrow a line from the late great Norm Macdonald, "Hey Bond, stop stealing my moves!" Rose says she's beautiful, but in horrible, horrible pain. We also see some sort of little dude in the room with Bond and Rose after Bond kills her. It's either a funny little guy with a long nose or a funny little guy who likes to smoke cigars. I think this means someone saw what happened here that night. Someone saw what Bond did to Rosie, and I think it's safe to say it was either Sophie or Felix, given that those are the only two characters we've really heard about and would make sense right now. But the employees only sign makes me lean more towards Felix seeing this happen. Alright, big theory swing time now. What if Felix was responsible for Jack's death and covered it up by stuffing him in the suit? And now Jack has gone all crazy or whatever and is trying to bring his family into his world so they can be together again. Right now, I have no idea what the character motivations are, so the why and how aren't clear to me, which makes this theory a little shaky, but it's just a guess, alright? Just speculating. But I gotta say, this segment is pretty fantastic. It's janky and clumsy at times, but again, I'm in this thing for the story. It just goes to show you that you don't have to have a perfect, pristine style of presentation in analog horror to tell a compelling story. All you need is a compelling story. Despite all the jankiness, I'm still so invested in this and these characters. I've got to see where it all leads, and right now, all paths seem to lead to the storage facility we saw earlier, the home of the animatronics after the closure in 1974. 3 technicians are headed inside: Hillary Butt, Ashley Pudd, and Kevin W. And yes, the W stands for wives, plural, because Kevin fucks. All right, full disclosure, I wrote this script a couple of days ago and I lost my voice, so usually I record it like right after I finish and just go for as long as it takes. I wasn't able to do that because my voice was just gone. So I've forgotten about some of these insane things I wrote in this script. Oh boy, is this going to be a fun session.
But yeah, the place closed after people reported hearing the screams of an adult woman inside of the restaurant. Jeez. So yeah. Some hours after that specific case was reported, restaurants decided to close its doors, probably because authorities needed to check the place or something. What's weird about this is that the last day Bonds was open, they only let like 1 or 2 families in. And they mentioned later that the animatronics, like the entertainers, were completely absent and the curtains were closed.
Well, that's odd.
Haha, yes, grown adult woman with a grown adult woman voice. That is odd. You totally don't sound like a 7-year-old. Well, that's odd. I don't know why that line cracks me up so much. Also, I don't think I was supposed to read that. I think I was supposed to play it. So Bonds closed shortly after an investigation into the place after screams from an adult woman were heard. I'm guessing that the adult woman was none other than Rose Walten, seeing how we saw her lured backstage not too long ago. So the technicians start reprogramming and refurbishing the animatronics, or at least try to. They talk talk a lot. The dialogue's not great here. Not only is it hard to hear, but it's also just kind of sloppy. And again, this is early on. The series is still finding its footing and it does improve significantly, but let's not pretend here that it's good, okay? The voice acting and dialogue is distractingly bad for me.
Look at this key.
What?
Have you noticed how the company gives us this tiny key but never mentions its purpose?
You're just overlooking stuff.
I mean, why would they give us a key with no use whatsoever?
Exactly. It has to be for something interesting.
Maybe, but we're running out of time. We should focus on finishing these robots by tomorrow.
Right.
Good night.
See what I mean? It's just sloppy. It sounds like the voice actors are just reading stuff off the script line by line for the very first time. But here's the thing. It's okay for there to be problems like this early on when you're making stuff if you show improvements as you carry along. This isn't some big studio project. This is a group of people learning as they go. So the standard for criticism is different from a feature film or something like that. But the criticism is still fair, and I'm going to call attention to these flaws. And part of the reason is because I know where this series goes. And let me tell you, by the time we get to the end, Martin and everyone involved went from beginners to borderline masters. I mean, the jump from tape 1 to tape 2 was pretty big in my opinion so far, and by the end, holy fuck, they don't jump anymore. They're on a goddamn rocket ship. So Ashley goes exploring with the small key and finds a door labeled back doors. I guess back rooms was trademarked after all. The key opens the door and inside is a lot more doors. She starts snooping around and finds a room with unused animatronics, as well as one that's scrapped with a tarp on top of it. She finds a room full of spare parts, and then this happens.
As you can see here, there are some spare heads. Nothing I'm interested in, to be honest.
This scene confuses me for so many reasons. First, Ashley, I guess, gets scared by something, probably those clangs and bangs we hear after she yelps or hiccups or something, but the sounds play after she yelps. So was she scared of the message displayed on Boozoo's face where it looks like it says Charles? Is Charles a spooky name or something? Does Boozoo wish his name was Charles instead of Boozoo? Because Boozoo's fucking stupid. That's a bad name. I don't know. I think the point is Ashley has now ventured too deep into the facility and things are starting to get spooky. She then sees an animatronic version of that gray guy who was talking backwards earlier, and he makes a spooky noise. Ooh, cool. Now she's on to Billy the Clown. Remember that guy? Ashley is not a fan of this clown, so she decides to leave. Good on you, Ashley. That's smart thinking. Go back the way you came and go home alive. Nope, just kidding. She found a cassette tape and wants to go play it with Billy to hear what's on it. Of course, Ashley could just leave and play the tape on a cassette player that's not attached to a rotting clown in the deep dark annals of a basement, but he's right there. It'll take 2 seconds. It's no big deal. Why'd that old place close, by the way? Because of the screaming woman? It's fine. It's fine. Put the rectangle in the clown hole.
Jack, Susan, Charles, Rosemary, Sophie.
Jack, Susan, Charles, Rosemary, and Sophie. Those are the names we can make out. And right now, we can confirm that Jack and Rose are Mr. and Mrs. Walten, and Sophie is their daughter. We saw the name Charles on Boozoo's face earlier, so that pretty much settles that. And then there's Susan, who at this point, I'm just gonna assume is the purple rabbit Banny, because I don't know who that one is yet. As for Sophie, I don't really know what her deal is, but I have a feeling we'll find out soon. But not before we see what happens to poor Ashley. Well, look at there, Bond got her. That was an effective little jump scare and a pretty damn good scream from a voice acting point of view. But of course, it kind of gets undercut by this overly long shot of, I guess, Ashley slowly getting covered in mud? I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't care for these spooky faces, especially because it would be way scarier, I think, if you cut this part out, left it as a black frame for a little bit, and then went to the part with Billy the Clown. That to me is way more scary than this stupid fucking face gimmick thing. But during this segment, a message briefly flashes on screen. They left the next day. They thought Ashley left early, but she was in the back doors, screaming as much as she could, but no one heard the screams. The following days, the caretakers would complain about an awful smell coming from the back doors. Company decided to shut down the facility until new advice. The relocate project was unsuccessful. Ashley is still there, but she's not screaming anymore. She saw something she wasn't supposed to see, and now she's pretty. I mean, she's beautiful. Won't lie, not the first time I've heard of a rotting, horrible smell coming from a back door, if you know what I mean. I know that's not a poop joke. When I worked at a grocery store, an old man went back there trying to shoplift avocados and got pinned underneath the boxes, and we didn't find him. But yeah, she ain't beautiful. She is a corpse in a clown suit. And hey, I've got some new advice for you, Bunny Smiles Inc. How about just make a few new animatronics instead of repurposing the old ones you keep in a fallout shelter in the middle of the woods? They all look fucked anyways. Just redesign them. At this point, people are gonna put 2 and 2 together. You sent 3 people into work and only 2 were seen again. Just burn the whole fucking thing down at this point. There's also this bit of backwards dialogue that when reversed sounds like this.
The blind fortune teller speaks with knowledge, but never with content.
It sounds like the blind fortune teller spilled his knowledge, but never with content. Maybe it's filled instead of spilled, like he's filled with knowledge. I have no fucking idea what that means. And even if I heard what this guy was saying perfectly, I don't know. What does that mean? What are you talking about? Fucking clowns, man. Anyways, the important thing to note here is that a woman has been mangled by Bon. Her name was Ashley, but now it's Billy the Clown. Now, the Walten Files famously hides little secrets in each installment, like URLs to additional mystery content. I was able to piece one of them together and then realized they're all in the Walten Files playlist on the Walten Files channel, so I just watched them all there instead. Now, this mystery tape is titled Lucky You, and it's pretty fucking great. It starts off as a memorial for Bon's Burgers, and interestingly, Bon's Burgers' lifespan was less than a month, which kind of makes you wonder, why would you do a memorial service for something that was only around for a month? Oh, okay, never mind. But man, it really didn't take long for all this shit to just fall apart, huh? All that planning and designing, hiring employees, it was over before it even got started, and then we get a message from somebody. It's not clear. It could be Bon, could be Jack, could be someone else. But we do know one thing for sure. It's fucking kick-ass.
You must be so confused about what you saw. Don't be scared, my little bunny. Answers will be given eventually, but don't try to solve this puzzle only with the pieces you have so far. This is only the beginning. For I'm going to tell you a story of broken people, beautiful people. He is so sorry about what he did to them. But there's nothing he can do. Remember that. Safety and pills, Sophie. Safety and pills, Sophie. Safety and pills, Sophie. Safety and pills, Sophie. Safety and pills, Sophie.
All right, first of all, simple presentation, clear narration. This message seems to be for Sophie specifically, and it says something about safety in pills over and over again. Of course, referring to the pills teased back in the first tape. Now, he could be saying, like, save me a pill, like, hey, save me a pill, because we're partying later, don't hold out on me. We're gonna find out what these pills are very soon, but I sort of love this meta message to the audience. It's like, don't try to solve it yet. This isn't a complete story. It'll make sense, just bear with me. And you know, 2 episodes in, I gotta say, I'm pretty damn convinced this whole thing is planned out. Sometimes when I'm watching an analog horror series, I feel like they're making it up as they go along. Here though, it feels very well thought out, like it was planned ahead. Martin Walls seems to be learning how to create analog horror visuals as he goes, but as far as storytelling is concerned, he seems to have it figured out. Now this video finishes off with a message via text, and it's really confusing, let me tell you now. Can't you see? I made him beautiful. I don't know how. I didn't even mean to, but I did. They try to talk to us through analog. They will be heard. This is their cry for help. Besides, they want us to know what happened that year. But we must be patient. Look, they're filled with life. They dance to the music. They laugh and sing along. They're perfect. They are beautiful. I'm horny. They will see you soon, Sophie. I didn't know there was one more thing. I just let that play. I don't want to write all that down, so I just played it and then recorded it at the same time. I was just okay, sorry. It's cool. It's a cool little thing, right? That's neat. Now the part that threw me off a bit was this part where it says they try to talk to us, because I thought it implied there were 2 different people leaving this message or something. But I think what it's saying is that the spirits in these animatronics are messing with the tapes and other analog media to cry cry for help. Gotta say, I like that they're kind of explaining the weirdness of the Walten files themselves in this section. The animatronics being able to mess with VHS tapes isn't that far-fetched if they're already possessing robots. I bet they can even mess with other analog devices, say for instance, an arcade cabinet. Oh yeah, that's right. It's time for tape 3, which features the lady we've heard so much about but never seen. That's right, it's Jenny Lennerson! Woohoo! Oh, and also her friend Sophie Walten is there with her. Jenny shows Sophie this cool new game she found called Bunny Farm in the far-off future of 1982. It's an arcade cabinet, and it's in the basement of someplace, we don't know. And from the moment these two characters open their mouths, it is obvious that the voice acting, the dialogue, everything has improved significantly. It's amazing.
Right, so you gotta choose a name now.
I see your name over there.
Yeah, but the idea is that you play the game from scratch.
I see. Put my name over here then. So, fuck. Shit, I can't go back.
Dumbass. Huh.
Oh my god, I've been saying Soapie's name wrong this entire time. Shit, well, I guess I can't fix it now. I'll just call her Soapie from here on out. But what did I say? It gets better. I mean, holy fuck. It feels like the second I complain about something, it's already fixed in the next installment. Except for the overused spooky faces gimmick, though we know now that's how these spirits try to communicate. They see something that relates to them and essentially show themselves in hopes that the viewer makes the connection, and that's a cool idea. I just think it's overdone. I don't find it scary, and there are better ways to show that connection, as we've already seen in this series.
Oh, don't tell me you guys forgot about today.
Oh, I know, ask me, please, I know, ask me.
Anyone else aside from Benny? All right, Benny, what day is it today?
Why, today is the annual fruit festival.
I need all of you to put your fruits in these baskets. You guys want fruits, right?
Oh heavens, what are we gonna do?
Oh no! Is the fruit festival cancelled, Mr. B?
Oh, you dumb salamanders. The important...
Hell, I couldn't help but notice you guys need fruits real quick. My barn's filled with all kinds of fruits. Say, why don't you guys do me a small favors, and I'll give you all the fruits you need.
Yes! Barn adventure! I love barns! I want to see the pigs and the chickens and the animals and the barns and the pigs!
All right, Pete. Well,
That'll be fun. All of us working.
Really? What?
Well, like a wing for me?
I gotta say, I fucking love this segment so much. Banny screaming yes is hilarious, Billy just appearing and saying his name is great, and then Banny's reaction is fucking amazing. But after this amazing opening cutscene, alright, Soapie says something unexpected.
You know, something I like about the game is the artwork. I don't know why, but there's something about it that seems, really familiar to me.
So we know Soapie was 14 when Bonds opened and then closed within a month, but she doesn't seem to have any memory of it. Jenny mentions she wanted to show Soapie this game because Soapie likes spooky stuff. But when Jenny brings up the company that makes the game, Soapie responds with confusion.
Yeah, when BSI installed these machines, they clarified that as well, but here's the thing. These glitches are very creepy, if I'm totally honest. That's why I wanted to show you this in the first place. I know you're into that
BSI?
kind of Funny Smiles Incorporated.
Have I heard that name before?
I mean, that company has been pretty relevant these past few weeks. Didn't you hear?
Oh my god, it's all tying together. I love it. I haven't mentioned it yet, but Bon's Burgers is located in Brighton, Michigan. That's where Soapie and Jenny are located right now, too. We know this because of Soapie's jacket in the opening of the video. See? Brighton. Bon's Burgers came and went incredibly quickly, and at this point has become something of an urban legend. And I really like that. Now, of course, the elephant in the room, Soapie doesn't remember anything about anything. I mean, her parents disappeared, her siblings haven't been mentioned anywhere so far, apart from very briefly in the descriptions of one of the videos. How could Soapie not remember any of this? Did she get bonked on the noggin? Well, I think Soapie and I have something in common. We both take kick-ass pills to forget things. I take pills so I can forget about that windmill that fell on that school bus I was supposed to be driving, and Soapie takes pills to forget the tragic loss of her parents. That's what I think's going on here. Jenny then tells the story of Ashley, the woman who got stuffed into the clown suit, and not in a funny way.
This young employee named Ashley, young adult, very pretty. She became some sort of urban legend around here.
Why?
People say she died inside of some old bunker from the company. Her body was never found. Most say she was privately buried. Others say she's still inside that place.
Sounds like a made-up story to get little kids away from that forest. And we should probably just continue with the game.
Yeah, who wants to hear about this kind of shit while playing some child's game, right?
Hey, wait a minute, is that a jab at me? Cause I wanna hear spooky stories while playing a child's game. I'm a big boy, I can handle it. So Soapie doesn't love hearing these possibly definitely real spooky stories. Soapie then speaks to some hippo guy who says something about the original owner of the town. I don't think it's important, but I did wanna say, when I die, please make sure that my tombstone says older year - other year like this, because I think that'd be really funny.
I don't like this one. It looks boring.
Yeah, I guess kids don't like hearing their parents' stories, and Soapie's no different. Oh, but now it's time for my favorite part of the Walten Files. It's right here.
Apples.
Apples. Anyways, Soapie hates the sight of her mother, but likes Billy the Clown because she's got bad taste. She launches into the clown hole level, and we see our first goofy glitch, which leads to Soapie saying this.
You know, I keep thinking about bunny smiles. It sounds so familiar. This game is bringing back so many memories, but it's so hard to just remember exactly.
This episode is going to be all about Soapie remembering what happened in her childhood. The childhood she forgot because she loved Vicodin mixed with cough syrup, which is known on the streets as circus juice. No wonder she likes the clown. Jenny leaves her alone because she has to go work on an essay. Soapie ventures into the bunny farm alone as the spirits do their best to make their presence known so that their story can be told. Now this one is an hour long and there's lots of great stuff in it for sure, but Jesus God Almighty, it just goes on and on and on. I appreciate the dedication to the bit. Don't get me wrong. The aesthetics are really cool. The music and sound effects are perfect, but it's just a bit too long for my taste. I think it gets kind of old and repetitive after a while. And I don't have a problem with long analog horror episodes. I mean, that will be clear later in this series. I mean, the last episode is basically a feature-length movie, and I love every second of it. So yeah, the length is a little bit frustrating, but it just goes to show again how many improvements were made from episode to episode in this series. It's shocking. I mean, the fact that I didn't like this series when I first saw it, and now that I've caught up with it today and gotten through episode 5, I can't stop talking about it or thinking about it. I mean, that just goes to show you how much love and care was put into this thing, and how much attention was paid to what was working and what wasn't working, and how to improve and bolster up the weaker parts of the series while highlighting the stronger parts like the storytelling. It's just fantastic. But now Soapie does some puzzles, plays tic-tac-toe, and then gets a gift from the clown.
What's that? Jenny? Restart the level. Christ. Never mind.
Well, looky there. Soapie got scared and stopped playing like a big baby. She was scared of confronting the memories of her family's death. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. I shouldn't be making fun of her. Notably, Soapie stopped playing right as she ran into the gray rabbit that we've seen a couple of times before, which is spooky and will be important later. But now, Jenny and Soapie have returned the next day to play the game. Soapie got scared, but feels like the game is trying to tell her something, and by God, she's gonna find out what it's trying to tell her, because she's got a curious mind and a fearless mind, because Jenny doesn't stick around. Soapie is so invested in this, so curious, so intrigued, that she wants to play it immediately. But Jenny wants to go to bed, so she leaves Soapie alone. Right as Soapie boots into the game, though, an error message displays with a very sad-looking rabbit in the background.
Fuck. Don't tell me I lost all my progress, because I'm not entering that clown level again.
See that? That's character development, baby. She goes from liking the clown to fearing the clown. In other words, she learned common clown sense. Also, look who pops out when she loads her save. It's that damn gray rabbit again. What the fuck is this guy's problem? Soapie hops into her save pile and goes nightmare hunting in the game. She arrives at Banny's level, which is called Hippo House, which, fun fact, was the original name of the TLC. Oh, fuck, I forgot I wrote this. She arrives at Banny's level, which is called Hippo House, which, fun fact, was the original name for the TLC show Big Ass Sisters, or whatever it's called.
Those are pigs.
Sophie, those aren't pigs, those are human beings! That's why they didn't call the show Hippo House, because it's degrading to compare those two humongous sisters to animals. Shame on you, Sophie. You know, I'm a larger man myself, and I bet you if this lady saw me out in public, she'd compare me to some kind of barn animal too, like a cow.
Those are pigs.
Oh, my bad, Sophie. Those are pigs. Whoopsie, that's on me again. That's my second misunderstanding that's been borderline incredibly inappropriate and offensive. Banny and Bon arrive at a horse lady's barn, and Banny obviously wants to fuck the horsewoman. The horse lady tells them to not let the pigs out, so Banny lets the pigs out because she's fucking stupid.
Banny, you dumb.
Easy, Bon. Jesus Christ almighty, this one's going off the rails. So now Soapie tries to find a way to retrieve the pigs from the hippo house. She goes into one of the rooms, but it's completely dark, and when she returns, the living room has changed. The hippo's eyes are gone, the dad hippo is nowhere to be seen, and our boy Felix is shown in a picture on the wall. She goes into the next room and muses about what the game is trying to tell her, and feels like it wants her to do something, but she doesn't know what. But when she completes the slide puzzle, the screen goes black, and we are greeted with an audio log from an employee of Bunny Smiles Inc. from opening day at Bon's Burgers in 1974. Also, we see Banny, and then the name Susan Woodings, so I think it's safe to assume those two are connected.
BSI Technical Support audio log number 3, June 30th, 1974. Jeremy's birthday party finished an hour ago. I decided to stay and help the employees clean the place. This week has been strange, especially because of the opening. I find it weird that they opened the place even though Mr. Walten disappeared a few weeks ago. I hope he's doing alright. Rosemary came in today and asked if we'd seen him around. I'm pretty worried about it. Felix seems very concerned and worried too. Anyway, the birthday party, yes. Everything went according to plan. This was the first birthday party in the restaurant, and I feel it turned out pretty well. I noticed a few irregularities in the stage and in the audio animatronics. As the engineer and the person who basically built the animatronics to begin with, it was easier to notice these, especially in Bon. Something fell off. The limbs weren't moving properly. They looked stiff and odd, mainly in his right arm. It took a few more minutes to take him to the backstage, just to make sure everything's okay. I'm the only one left. Chris left some hours ago, and Felix didn't even show up. I'll leave and close the restaurant when I'm finished. I'm sure it's not going to take long.
Alright, before we carry on, let's unpack a few things here. Jack Walten is missing, and has been since before Bon's Burgers even opened. Rose has been asking about him, but can't find him, and Felix seems concerned as well. And it just so happens that Bon has started acting strange, and that's coming from one of the main dudes who designed the animatronics. Jack is gone, Bon starts acting weird. Coincidence? What else could it possibly fucking mean right now? It seems like Jack Walten is Bon. But again, why would he kill his own wife? Maybe he went crazy when he possessed Bon and is trying to rebuild his family, and that's why he wants Soapie. I don't know, but we move on from this scene back to the video game, except we seem to be seeing Susan now. She grabs a wrench and tries to work on Bon, but she's killed and presumably stuffed inside of Banny. And just as it seems things have returned to normal on the old bunny farm, we are greeted with this image. It reads, "I'm still alive, but I can't move, and I'm having trouble breathing and my stomach feels weird." Pretty sure I said this exact same thing to a Chili's waitress after trying to do the triple dipper challenge where you eat 3 triple dippers in the span of 3 minutes. Now this is a pretty haunting message, but Susan, I hate to tell you this, but your face is looking a bit fucked up too. You sure it's just your stomach that feels weird? Poor lady looks like fucking Smile Dog now. Bon gives Banny a present, and as soon as he does, Banny's mannerisms change, and just like that, Soapie beat the level. She made Susan beautiful, which means she killed her and stuffed her in a suit. Good job, Soapie.
Thing is, the pills have been making me forget a lot of stuff from my teenage years and my childhood, and like, I started taking them for a reason, but I really don't want to think about it.
Aha, see? The pills are making her forget the past. It's okay, Soapie. Remember what happened, and then go burn down the storage facility and move to Phoenix. As Soapie progresses through the game, she reaches a loading screen that goes on until finally it shows this page. Linda Crankin. Do not touch is what it reads, except Crankin has been crossed out and Thompson has been put in its place. Oh, maybe she got married. Good for her. We then see some more images from what seems to be Linda's diary. It seems she's married to Felix, who has been struggling with his drinking. We then learn Linda has moved in with Felix about a year after the last diary entry. Also, Jack and Rose had their third child recently, who they named Molly. And then we get an absolute bombshell entry from 5 years later. Jack and Rose had a gray rabbit doll built for Ed and Molly, their two youngest children. His name is Rocket, and finally we know where this stupid fucking gray rabbit came from. Damn, if that gray rabbit has been talking with Sophie occasionally and popping up in the tapes, then I think we know what happened to her younger siblings. It seems Soapie might be the last living member of the Walten family. She just can't remember it. Also, Felix won't stop drinking. He's out of control. 3 years later, it's only gotten worse. Felix is putting drinking and his work above everything in his life, including his loving wife, Linda. And then in May of 1974, a month or so before Bond's Burgers was set to open, Linda left Felix. Oh, so the crossing out of the name on the diary was her being like, I'm not with Felix Crankin anymore, I'm Linda Thompson, and maybe she's using her maiden name, or perhaps, I like to think, she went off and married Michael Sweet Bells Thompson, famed basketball player who won 2 championships with the Lakers, and they had 3 beautiful children, one of whom was called Clay, who went on to win 4 NBA championships. Good for you, Linda! You helped create a dynasty! Though things aren't as happy for Felix Sad Sack Crankin, whose wife has left him, and he's very, very sorry about it. Plus, this same night, he has to go do a favor for Jack. I wonder what that's gonna be. That might be important. Oh boy, I enjoy the jokes now. This is gonna be bad. Soapie says she shouldn't be reading this because she's a good person and doesn't want to snoop, but it's too late. She's reached the end and the game returns to normal. And that is fucking tragic, let me tell you right now. But kind of weird how Linda owns a Bond's Burgers branded diary, but still tragic. It seems Felix is a somewhat troubled man who copes by drinking lots and lots of booze. Can't relate, Felix. I'm a very troubled man that drinks lots and lots of beer, which as we all know is a big difference. Though, Felix is probably going to be happy at this next part because it seems Soapie is visiting his favorite animatronic, Boozoo. Get it? Like booze? Though once Soapie is inside the level, she is contacted by a specter.
What? Again, I feel like this could be related to a person trying to tell the player something, maybe even a ghost, because this game really makes it seem like the people shown on screen died.
Well, I see the word hi in there, so it might be a friendly ghost. Soapie continues to navigate her way through the dark level until finally she finds Boozoo, but when she makes contact with him briefly, he reveals his human form. So this guy talking to Soapie is almost certainly the guy possessing Boozoo, whose name is Charles, which we know because it was written on his fucking face at one point. Then Soapie plays a matching puzzle game, and she's doing great until suddenly the game seems to bug out. Hey, those two don't match. What kind of rigged sideshow rigmarole are you trying to pull here, Boozoo? Do you get it yet? Boozoo has got a fella inside him, and this fella is named Charles. What's that? You still don't get it? Fine. Play Spot the Difference with Boozoo, Soapie. Soapie happily plays Spot the Difference for 2 full minutes until she is finally shown 2 pictures of a man. In one, he looks weird and alive. In the other, he looks weird and dead. I will say, I'm making fun of this part a little bit. I like what they're doing here. I like the Spot the Difference game and the fact that Soapie's now trying to spot the difference between the 2 pictures, but there aren't any. It's the same guy. That's cute. I like it. I think it's clever. But now that Soapie has finished the Spot the Difference game, she is rewarded with multiple spooky pictures of Charles with loud noises and music playing over top. The word missing is said over and over again, and I won't lie, a few of these images are kind of creepy. I like this one we see during the Spot the Difference game, and this one with the eyes and the teeth is pretty fucking awesome looking. But the last image that is shown during this segment is so goddamn stupid looking. I genuinely burst out laughing when it came on screen. I mean, I'm sorry. Why do this? This one's so fucking stupid looking, especially when you already showed all these creepier looking images, and then the noise that plays too. For some reason in my head it reads, it's like we have all this crazy creepy stuff going on, and it's just like, hi. I can't describe. I probably sound like a crazy person. This one makes me laugh like fucking crazy. It's hilarious. Now, obviously, Soapie can walk away at any time. She can just turn off the game and go hang out with Jenny, but she reluctantly pushes on with cautious curiosity. She finds her way to Shaw's level, the home of her mother. And this segment is great, all right? I didn't love the segment with Boozoo. We kind of rushed through it. I made fun of it a good bit. And of course, it ended with a big laugh, which I'm gonna go out on a limb and say wasn't the intention of it. As Soapie ventures deeper in the game, the characters take on their animatronic forms more and more. And I gotta say, I love this little screen they have for the hide and seek minigame. It's really cute and fun. Oh, fuck, the graphics really took a tumble for this segment though. Must have ran out of budget. Whoa, and there's a pretty fucking big clue in the top right corner of this image. We see two mounds of dirt labeled E and M, and we know from earlier that Soapie's siblings were called Ed and Molly. This scene seems to confirm that they both died somehow. There's also a weird white bear thing that kind of looks like the one we've seen a couple of times before, but I'll be real, no idea what the significance of that thing is. It disappears once Spawn goes into the woods and we get the message, nothing to see here, so maybe it has something to do with that, maybe something to do with Ed and Molly, but I don't know. Now, after searching around for a bit, Soapie finds Shaw's mangled corpse in the bunny farm. Now, we've seen a lot of footage of bunny farms throughout this series. Hell, this game is called Bunny Farm, and I think the point of Shaw hiding in the bunny farm is that when you go to the bunny farm where Bond lives, the bunny farm gets bigger. Like bunnies multiplying. I don't know, I'm trying to piece it together in my head, but you know how fast rabbits breed? They just multiply and multiply so they can be decimated in mass by predators like me? Well, maybe Bond is the predator that got into the bunny farm, or maybe he's one such bunny that multiplies his species, which in this case is animatronics possessed by humans. I'm gonna blow a gasket trying to piece this part together, so let's just move on. Now it's Soapie's turn to hide, but she is quickly found by Shaw.
Am I still beautiful to you? Sophie.
I know you.
Found you.
Oh.
Oh my god. She said Soapie's name wrong. I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but this segment is great, and it's almost ruined by the stupid spooky face pasted over Shaw. It doesn't even fit over the image. It looks terrible. This is by far the biggest flaw of the Walten Files, and it just keeps on popping up. And the worst part about it is, this moment is fucking awesome. It's such a cool spooky reveal, and it's completely undercut by this stupid image. Then there's a bunch of screaming, loud noises. This message comes on screen. I can't read it. Doesn't matter, but there is one new interesting visual. We see two people standing side by side, and you better believe these two are Ed and Molly. Now from this point, the Walten Files becomes a very different series. We are about to find out what happened to Ed and Molly, and you know, going into this series, I didn't know what to expect, but when I say this segment made me completely forget about every shortcoming this series had before, I mean it. From this point on, I understood why people love this series, why they couldn't stop thinking about it, and why it is held in such high regard. We see the white bear emerging from the well, which he calls the Fountain of Memories. He asks Soapie what it is she'd like to remember, and she responds by writing in the game, "Who are you?" It's a neat way to have a character interact with these ghosts. I really like this, but the white bear doesn't respond. So instead, Soapie draws two stick figures standing side by side like the ghosts she had just seen. This, the white bear understands.
Holy shit. That's my old house.
Hello, Bond. I'm so glad you're here to help me clean the code base.
Oh boy, Soapie's about to remember everything. And note the date. It's the same day Felix's wife left him. Now, what does an alcoholic do when they're sad? Or happy? Or really anything, because they're addicted to alcohol. That's right. They drink. Now, this wouldn't be a problem for anybody but Felix if he were just staying in for the night, but unfortunately, Felix just got a phone call from Jack Walten.
Hello? Felix. Jack. What is it? Listen, I was wondering if you could do me and Rose a small favor tonight. Oh, I don't know, Jack. Today's been it's about Ed and Molly. They have a school event tonight, a school party, and they have no one to pick them up. I need to stay at the workshop to finish the paperwork, and Rose is taking Sophie to the dentist. We were wondering if you could pick them up for the event and take them home later. Tonight? Yeah, if it's possible, of course. Sure, I can do that. Really? Yeah, sure. Oh, thanks a lot, man. You're a lifesaver, Felix. It's nothing.
Oh no, dude. Why did he say yes? Just say you aren't up for it and the kids can miss one dance. Soapie searches around for Ed and Molly in the game, stalked by the white bear the whole time. When she finds them, the story kicks off. And alright, it looks a bit fucky, sure, but this is a corrupted memory and god damn it, I'm invested. I want to see what happens. Oh, you know what? Now that I say that out loud, that's probably what Walten Files fans say when they see the dumb morphed faces I hate so much. I get it now, Walten File fans. I get why you defend the flaws, because they don't take away from the perfection that's elsewhere. But if my kids looked like that, I'd kill them myself. Ed and Molly are picked up by Felix, but of course Molly doesn't want to go without her favorite gray bunny doll, Rocket. Ed might be a bit too old for it now, but Molly still loves that little bunny. They're brought to the dance by Felix, and we switch back to the video game aesthetic. The gray rabbit tells Soapie to follow it, so she does. By the time Soapie arrives at the location, Ed and Molly are ready to leave. Turns out they were once again looking for Rocket, but now at the dance, because apparently Molly doesn't love him so much to keep him around all the time. But now that he's been found, they can go find Felix so he can take them home. They search around until finally reaching the drinking zone. Which, yeah, might sound weird that that's at a kid's party, but it was Michigan in the 70s, so absolutely yes, I believe that there was a drinking zone at this kid's party. If you're that close to Wisconsin, chances are you're a drinking state. Sorry, that's just how it works. Inside the drinking zone, the kids find Felix, who's looking a little, let's just say intoxicated. I don't want to be rude and dog on the guy. For all I know, he could have some horrible disease that makes him look like that. Oh wait, alcoholism is a disease. Drink responsibly, kids, or you might wind up looking like old Felix here. Drunk, wifeless, alone, and about to kill 2 children. Oh boy. The kids are surprised to see Felix in the drinking zone since he's driving them. Smart kids, but Felix says it's okay, he's just a little dizzy. And then the 3 set off to the Walten household. The scene of the 3 driving home is executed pretty fucking well. The night is dark, the radio loud, and the Felix drunk. Like very, very obviously drunk.
Don't you think you're driving too fast?
Listen, I'm just trying to get you to I'm just trying to get you to home quickly, all right? Look, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling too good right now. I really I just want to lay in the bed and go to sleep.
It's alright. We get that today wasn't the best for you. We understand. Everything is gonna be okay.
Thanks, Molly.
Oh my god, dude, the text on screen showing it's all your fault over and over again is so fucking ominous and sad. Even though I know where this is going, I can't help but feel tense and just kind of grossed out by Felix. Hey, Felix, buddy, I know you're going through a lot right now with the whole killing your business partner's children and your wife leaving you thing, but I just wanted to ask, who's that weird guy with no eyes crying tar out of his face? You don't know? Okay, that's fine. I'll get back to it. Oh my god! Felix killed Ed and Molly! That's why that fucking fence post was broken earlier! Holy shit, dude. That's not good. But how can that be? Not how can that be not good? I mean, obviously he killed children. But we know Felix goes on to run the company alone without Jack. Well, luckily the white bear lets us know how things went down.
They didn't go home that night. He buried them here. He was too scared. But they found a way out eventually.
We then see Ed and Molly's spirits float into the gray rabbit, and it stands up. God, fuck you, Felix, stupid piece of shit idiot. But of course, there's still the Walten family to think about. Jack has been trying to call Felix all night, but no one answers.
Felix, pick up the phone. Now, I need you to pick up the phone. It's been 3 hours since I told you to get Ed and Molly home. What happened to my children? If anything happened, Felix, you must tell me. You haven't told me in 3 hours. I need to know what's going on. I've tried to call you all night. What the hell is wrong with you? I've been trying to come back here all night. I've been calling everyone for you. But what the hell is wrong with you? 3 hours, you didn't call. I asked you to do one simple favor for me. I need to know, where are they? Where did you...
God, dude, it's genuinely heartbreaking. Like, if you had told me when I watched the first episode of this series that I would be, like, devastated by the end of the 3rd episode, I would have said, you're talking about the one with the funny bunny character with the razor sharp teeth? I don't think so. But this whole thing is handled really well in terms of writing and presentation. They don't overdo it. It's not awful for the sake of awful. It serves a purpose in the story. It feels real and plausible and grounded, and it's effective. And in a series like this that's kind of goofy in concept, it's got a lot of supernatural stuff going on, people possessing animatronics, and as we've seen, the presentation can be pretty janky at times. It would be so easy for them to do like the default FNAF route, which I like Five Nights at Freddy's a lot, but it does leave a lot of things up to the imagination, and by that I mean they just don't address a bunch of things. Like, these kids go missing, well, what about the families? What about the parents? What about the town? All of that stuff is covered here in the Walten Files. It feels like it's looking at this kind of old classic formula, which is weird to think about. Yeah, FNAF is 12 years old now, but they're taking this thing that's been pretty played out and looking at it from a different angle, a more serious angle, and they're handling it in a pretty adult way. It's not the story of a serial killer or some evil ghost or anything like that. No, it's about Felix Kranken, a human being who is working on this restaurant with his partner, Jack Walten, but he handles the stress in a really unhealthy way, and it affects his personal life. It eventually leads to his wife leaving him, and that's all built up to throughout this episode. And then eventually, when he's at rock bottom, it just so happens Jack Walten, who's also dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of work, needs a favor from him. And instead of saying no, instead of saying I'm in no state to do this, I think Felix is the kind of guy that believes he's doing just fine. This is how he gets by. And yeah, he can do this favor for Jack, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know his limits, and it leads to him hurting the people around him. It's just incredibly sad and tragic and real feeling at the same time. And you know, if this was like a Five Nights at Freddy's situation where this was just to kick off a video game story or something like that, and we don't hear anything about the families or anything after the fact, and we just go into the gameplay for a spooky good time, I could see this feeling over the top or tasteless or something like that. But no, the Walten Files is about the Walten family. This is the start of what leads to all the stuff we've seen so far. The death of Rose, the disappearance of Jack, Sophie taking these pills to forget about things. This is how it all started. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a serial killer. It wasn't some crazy supernatural event. It was a broken man who pushed himself too far. And that's not to say Five Nights at Freddy's is a bad game series or tells a bad story or anything like that. No, it's just the idea that there is a lot more you can do with this concept, or there's different things you can do with this concept and this setup. You can make it serious, you can make it grounded, you can make it focused on people, because of course it is a good idea to say, hey, we have Five Nights at Freddy's, these kids died and got stuffed in a suit, we don't hear anything about their families ever. Wouldn't that be an interesting story? Wouldn't that be an interesting angle to explore? And I would say yes, absolutely, and the Walten Files proves that. And you know, it's a pretty big swing to go for something like this. It's a pretty big undertaking to be like, okay, I'm gonna make this spooky Five Nights at Freddy's adjacent series, but I'm gonna make it uber serious, and then by the last episode it kind of turns into an HBO family drama. That's pretty ambitious, but I think you're starting to see those seeds planted here, and by the time we get to Faces of Grief, the last episode, you'll see that Martin Walls and everyone involved in the Walten Files very much cares about what they're doing, and they're pretty good at pulling it off as well. Now, this would be a fine end to this episode, but of course, Bunny Farm is an episode that's too long for its own good. After this phone call, the white bear is like, you still gotta remember something, Soapie, and she sees the animatronics she already saw, and then Bond comes by with a present for her. I think it's supposed to be like flowers or a suit or something. I don't know. It's all just an excuse to give us one final jump scare with Bond that looks pretty cool, but sort of feels out of place after that heartbreaking scene we just saw. And that's the end of Bunny Farm. Good lord, that was a lot of information, and my hands did actually hurt from typing during this segment, and I had to take a break. I think I touched on everything I wanted to touch on though, so no point in waiting. Let's carry on. There are a few secret videos that I'll briefly touch on before we go into part 4, but it's mostly old news at this point. We do get to hear Felix try and explain himself for what he did after killing these children. Yeah, after the whole being drunk thing. He's just like, yeah, I've got a problem. No shit, Felix, you just killed 2 children. You should be in prison, you dumb fuck. He claims he's so drunk most of the time that he just forgets things, so he carries around an audio recorder to remind himself of important things, like if he has to mail a letter to the IRS, or pay the electric bill, or that he just killed his business partner's children.
Just the idea of Jack seeing what happened to him. Jack's been the best friend I've ever had. I'd never do that to him. That's when the accident occurred. I just panicked and I buried him in the forest. St. Juana's forest, the forest next to the road in which the accident occurred. I can't remember where I buried him. What am I gonna do now? The restaurant's gonna open next month.
Dude, fuck you, Felix. But now we've arrived at chapter 4, and you know how I keep saying this series gets exponentially better in terms of presentation with each installment? Yeah, these last 2 tapes are really gonna showcase that. It just goes to show if you stick with something, really practice, learn from people, and work your ass off, you can hone your skills and get better. I know I've poked fun and criticized a lot of stuff in the Walten Files so far, and that's because I feel like there are some real flaws and creative mistakes that were made with the presentation, but I don't make those criticisms because I want to see this series fail or I don't think it's great. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm making these criticisms because I want to see this series succeed. I want it to be the best it can be, and these last 2 parts really do feel like the series has found its footing. Things are very cinematic, pretty consistently animated, and of course, the story still kicks ass. So here we go, Walten Files Part 4 time. What the fuck is gonna happen next? Felix just killed 2 children. Oh wait, it's Ed and Molly, and they look just fine. Maybe it was all just a bad dream. Oh, never mind. They just found Felix in the drinking zone. We're just seeing it happen again. After a flash of light, we see a foggy field with a fence. Is this the afterlife? Kinda underwhelming. We get to see some Bunny Smiles Inc. promos as well as some Cyber Fun Tech logos. More on them in a minute though. There's a DVD menu. We pick the first one and we see a message from Charles Brooks. It's from October of 1970, and he's been hired as a computer supervisor for the currently untitled Bunny Smiles restaurant project. He considers the guys he's working with to be family, though he mentions that getting to meet the Waltons and the Krankens is fun, as if he hadn't met them in particular yet. Things seem to be going pretty well for him. Hopefully he doesn't get shoved into an animatronic, or at least if he does, hopefully he gets one with a cool name like Rocket or Kevin, and not something stupid like Boozoo. We get to see some footage of the animatronics performing, and maybe it looked cool in the 70s, but retrospectively it looks really scary and creepy. There's some weird imagery, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. That is until we reach Bon. We see a red square, and then this fella. Who the fuck is that? There's a weird photo that shows up after he appears too, and I don't know what that is either. Guessing he has something to do with Bon, and as for the weird face, this is the Walten Files. Chances are we'll see some variation of it again with more context, so let's just keep moving. Now it's time to learn about the showstoppers and how they were made, and I absolutely love stuff like this, especially when there's a fun, goofy character there to teach me things.
Today, we'll take a journey through the magic of the showstoppers and how they were created. You might learn a thing or two about the quality of our company.
Oh, fuck yeah, I want to learn about the animatronics. Also, the Nightmare Man appeared again, but fuck him. Tell me how the mustache guy works. First, we see some concept art and early designs of the characters.
Rosemary Walten, loving wife of... is a brilliant artist with a huge passion for poetry and the theatrical, and has done numerous art pieces before becoming the lead artist in BSI. She's the one in charge of making the final designs that would later become the characters they are today.
I think I always had a pretty clear idea of how each character looked like in my mind. The designs just made sense to me. I wanted to make them seem appealing to a younger audience while still being simple enough so they can be easy to remember.
Whoa, what? Rose designed the showstoppers? That's pretty fucking cool. She might not be a founder of Bunny Smiles, but she's a pretty damn important part of it. But while she designed the characters, the animatronics themselves were handled by Cyber Fun Tech, who fully partnered with Bunny Smiles to make the restaurant happen. And this information is coming from none other than Susan Woodings, one of the people that disappeared. We get a nice close look at the early heads of the showstoppers, and looky there, Charles's name is written on Boozoo's head in real life for some reason. Maybe that's one of the ones he made and he's like really proud of it. He's like, this one's mine. I'm gonna write my name on it. Or maybe Susan wrote Charles's name on it because she's like, this one sucks. Fix it, Charles. I don't know, but it's a neat callback. I would love it in this section if they start like going over the robots and they're like, this is the neck joint. This is the motor for the eyes. This is the soul consumer. This is the robo spine. This little piece of copper wire here, that's what hides the souls in the soul consumer from God and Satan. How great would that be? No? All right, moving on. Oh, look, a secret upside down and backwards message with someone's stupid fucking face in the background. It's a letter from someone called Norman to Felix, and it's about Susan Wooding's disappearance. Norman is worried about Susan, and he is very suspicious of Felix for not saying anything or sharing any sort of information about it. It's a somewhat accusatory letter, but what Norman doesn't understand is Felix is actually really busy drinking, killing children, and being divorced, so a missing, probably dead woman isn't that big of a deal for him. Besides, it's time to learn about the Cybertech console, the thing that lets animatronics be animatronics. It makes them move, talk, walk around, and even track faces to recognize customers. I love these notes and sketches we get in this segment, but of course, complicated tech like this has to be tested. You can't do it all on pen and paper. You gotta get your hands dirty. And that's exactly what we see Susan and Charles up to here. They're testing the walk-around function, and apart from Banny accidentally bumping into a table, things seem to be going just fine, which is great, but now it's time to test the facial tracking. They want to see if the animatronics can recognize their faces, though apparently Jack already confirmed this one day when he brought Molly into work with him, and the animatronics recognized her. However, the animatronics struggle with some faces, specifically with Sophie's face. And yeah, I'm back to calling her Sophie. That was just for the last tape. They have a hard time reading her face for some reason, and Susan and Charles want to find out why. Now, remember back when in the first tape with Brian and the whole "he thought I was her" thing? Well, this segment essentially explains why that happened. Or I guess it explains how it happened. I'm not entirely sure why the animatronics struggle to understand Sophie's face. Maybe she's got a common face that causes the facial recognition just to default to Sophie when it can't decipher something. I'm not sure, but I'm certain we'll learn about it eventually in this series. I mean, this segment is clarifying something from way back in tape 1. It once again shows the strength of the Walten Files storytelling and the consistency of the story being told here. But now, we've reached the day after Ed and Molly were killed by Felix. Charles and Susan heard the news and don't believe Felix's story for a second. And remember, Felix buried them and made up some kind of story to cover his ass. We'll see what he did shortly, but first, take a look at the restaurant. Notice anything strange? Well, for one thing, there's a blanket or tarp covering something which looks similar to the scrapped animatronic we saw a while back. But also, look who's hanging out by one of the tables. It's Rocket, the gray rabbit, the new form of Ed and Molly. Rocket makes his way over to Boozoo, who is currently having his facial scanners tested. Upon scanning, it says no faces found, and we see distorted versions of Ed and Molly, and then it displays Ed and Molly behind the first image. And we see a spooky face, no clue who that belongs to, and something is said by, I'm guessing Ed and Molly, but for the life of me, I can't decipher it. No clue what that is saying, but Susan and Charles were out of the room when this happened, so doesn't really matter. But with that, we jump ahead to June 30th, and we see a fucked up face making its way towards Bond, seemingly possessing it. Oh look, it's the goofy-faced guy from earlier. Nice, that's probably a good sign. Shortly after, Susan enters the room, and from here on out, the Walten Files presses the pedal to the floor. Susan is listening to the radio and has a look around the restaurant. She spots Rocket lying against the wall, and then hears some strange noises. Guess who's there? Jesus Christ, Bon, why are you going and doing that for? God, I love how Bon reacts after murdering Susan. He doesn't do an evil laugh or some scary growl. He clasps his hands together and looks down at his handiwork with an almost excited grin on his face. He seems so proud and pleased with himself. We then cut to a man speeding down the street. It's Jack Walten, and he's just arrived at Felix's house. He bangs on the door and his own voicemails play throughout the house, but it seems no one is home.
Felix, wait some more. Please open the door, sir. Please open the door. Felix. Felix!
Hey, what's the deal, Felix? Come on, Wood. I told you 9 p.m. I told you 9 p.m. Please. I'm calling this crew, and I'm just tell me about.
I know you're here.
If this is some prank you're trying to pull, I don't find it funny, so please. Don't make me drive over there, Felix.
Felix, if you do anything to those kids, I'll fucking kill you. If you remember this door, please open the door.
God damn. I don't even want to goof around anymore. I feel fucking terrible. Yeah, what the hell? Hey, Jack, Felix lives next door, dummy! But of course, Felix doesn't live next door. He isn't home. He's currently on the side of the road trying to cover his tracks, save face, and possibly find a way to blame this whole thing on a tornado or perhaps some kind of cryptid like Bigfoot or the Long Man. Felix has buried Ed and Molly and marked their graves. He now sits across from Rocket in another grave he's dug, seemingly for himself. Now say whatever you want about Felix, he sure can dig a deep hole for himself. Rim shot, laugh track, laugh track, laugh track, okay. 2 children are dead. It's Felix's fault. He grabs Rocket and Molly's backpack and heads to a cliff overlooking a river. 3 days later, Felix finally tells Jack and Rose what happened.
I finally told them what happened. It was in my office. It was the longest hour of my life. The most painful conversation I've ever had. Pain in their eyes, the anger. They both hate me now. And I don't blame them. I have no idea what's going to happen to me now. My life, my business, everything. But the fact they're still buried down there, it haunts me every night. It's eating me up inside. Rosemary asked about the doll. I told her that they left it at school. That was a lie. I don't know what to do with the doll. Wherever I go, there it is, and I can't get myself to get rid of it. It's like a constant reminder of this huge mistake, and how there's nothing I can do to make it better.
Well, look at that! Ed and Molly are peering in at Felix through the window. That's a really nice touch. In fact, the presentation of everything with Felix so far has been tremendous. It's so cinematic, there's so much attention to detail, so much style. It's downright masterful. And to think the series started off looking like this, that's fucking nuts. So Felix is being tormented by the consequences of his actions, but not the full consequences because he's a lying coward that puts himself before everyone else. And then we return to the restaurant where Rocket sits, watching Bond stuff Susan into Banny. Holy fuck, that's awesome. What a cool transition and idea. So it seems when people die, they go to this weird afterlife field place. This is where Molly and Ed are now, and Molly wants to look around for Susan and help her, for she fears Bond may be giving her a fate worse than death. Ed is reluctant, but agrees. Now, notably, the two children keep mostly out of sight of Susan and Bond. Susan is confused, but soon a voice calls out to her to try and walk her through what's happened.
I can hear you, Susan. I'm here.
Where are you? Please, where am I?
Don't you worry. You're in safe hands, Susan. Welcome to Wonderland. Your new home. Isn't it beautiful?
Am I
dead? No. Not yet, at least.
Holy shit, the guy voicing Bond is incredible. This whole sequence, the dialogue, the delivery, the weird music in the background. What the fuck? This is insane. This is so good. So Bond is offering Susan the chance to essentially take on a new body. The body of Banny, the Purple Rabbit.
Apologies for what I had to do to you. But look, the hard part is over with now. Besides, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
And just like that, Susan has possessed Banny. Ed and Molly were too late and now must wait patiently in the void. And that is the end of part 4. And good God, what an ending! Those last goddamn 20 minutes are downright incredible. But I'm once again drawn back to the all-important question that surrounds the Walten files. Who is Bond? Why is Bond doing this? It's really hard to say because if it's Jack Walten, well then the motivation seems completely out of whack. Is it some random guy we haven't met yet? Maybe, but I feel like Bond has got to be connected to the characters and stories we've seen so far. If it turned out he was just some random serial killer or something, that'd be sort of anticlimactic and disappointing, especially since these characters, especially the Walten family and Felix, are pretty well developed at this point. Maybe the deaths of Ed and Molly drove Jack mad and then he died somehow. Maybe Felix killed him, maybe there was another accident, maybe he took his own life and in the end wound up in Bond. Who knows? I'll be real, for me right now, having gone frame by frame through this series multiple times while writing this script, I gotta say, I think we'll find out who Bond is definitively eventually. It's clearly the central mystery here, and it will likely be one of the last things revealed in this series. But even though I don't know who Bond is yet, I'm still completely invested in these characters, this story, and this world. It reminds me of that feeling I got as a kid when I saw FNAF for the first time and got obsessed with it. This is a series that rewards viewers for watching and listening carefully. It's filled to the brim with little visual nods, callbacks, setups, and payoffs, and tons of stuff like that. For someone like me that likes to try and piece these analog horror stories together, it's fucking perfect. But at the same time, the story isn't so cryptic that it can't be followed along and enjoyed casually. You can absolutely watch the Walten Files and get something out of it story-wise without going frame by frame or by reversing audio or brightening up pictures. I guess what I'm trying to say is the storytelling feels perfectly balanced. Maybe I'm completely wrong, which would be funny if I went through this whole video, I go into it blind. I'm like, I think I understand it. I'm satisfied with my answer, and then everything I have in it is completely different from everyone else. I don't think that'll be the case, but still, it doesn't really matter, because that's all part of the fun of analog horror stories like this. But this isn't an easy thing to pull off. It's not easy to make something engaging in a traditional sense and in a less traditional sense, like with analog horror. I absolutely love it, and I'm hoping you loved it so far too. Now, I've tried to be real fucking thorough with the Walten Files up through this point, but on the official playlist, there are 7 additional videos now listed separating part 4 from part 5. I guess they added some non-canon stuff to the playlist recently for some reason, I don't know, but we're not talking about any of that non-canon stuff. Now, I will briefly summarize these, let's call them supplemental videos, so that we can carry on to the main story. First up, Lacrimoso, which means weeping or mournful in Latin, or of course it means obelisk in Spanish, which of course means penis. This one establishes Charles and Susan's friendship and how Charles is worried for Susan now that she's disappeared. Also, the description of the video tells us what happens when Felix finally shows his face 3 days after he and the Walten children went missing. He was taken into custody, explained that he crashed the car and was unconscious for 20 minutes, and by the time he came to, the children had run off. I'm guessing his story also involves him selflessly looking for them and trying to track them down despite knowing exactly where they are. Keep it classy, Felix, you piece of shit. Also, an important bit of theorizing with the CT console, those special things that bring the animatronics to life. It seems they can record things from the animatronics' perspective, and if something goes wrong with them, well then you better call Charles. I think these CT consoles might have something to do with how spirits can possess animatronics, but I'll be real, that's not the most interesting part of this. We saw the facial recognition recordings earlier, sort of, but this seems to be suggesting a technician such as Charles could see a whole lot more than that. Like perhaps if he were to take a look at Bond's point of view, interesting, might see some weird shit there. Anyways, that's Lacrimosa. Next up is Spectacle. I really like this one, and not just because it has a pseudo Local 58 reference. It's a news report on Bond's Burgers after Rose was killed, and her screams rang out across Brighton. This one's great because it gives us the town's perspective on the events surrounding Bond's Burgers. Multiple people associated with the business disappeared in a fairly short span of time, and then the restaurant quickly closed down. It became a sort of sensationalized urban legend, or I guess you could say it became a spectacle. There's this odd picture at the end of Shaw and Bond, and it sort of reminds me of like a wedding ceremony in a weird way, and then it's followed by this image of what I'm pretty sure is Jack that says, "I'm still here." Now, if Jack is Bond, that's pretty cut and dry, but if Jack isn't Bond, then I read this as Jack saying like, "Hey, I'm still here. Hands off my wife, Bond. I ain't dead yet." Also, the captions on the video say help when the words "I'm still here" appear. Super confusing, but it makes me feel a little more comfortable in saying Jack probably isn't Bond. At least, not entirely. Maybe the real Jack is buried somewhere deep in Wonderland, and this version of him we see possessing Bond is a mixture of his rage and regrets. I've got no fucking clue, though. I'm talking out of my clown hole. Not a ton more to say. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Souvenir is next, which I'm pretty sure is just a teaser for the next short. It shows Bond hanging up trinkets on wires in the storage facility. Why is he doing that? I don't know, but that brings us to Hotline. Hotline is a mostly disconnected horror short about a caretaker who is getting hunted down in the storage facility. And this one's pretty funny. It centers around this hotline caretakers can use if they are injured or in trouble in the facility, but the hotline basically does nothing. They're not really there to help. It further establishes Bunny Smiles Inc., run under Felix, as a largely incompetent company, and who would have thought the company run by a drunk child murderer would be incompetent? That basically describes every defense contractor, and they make billions. It's short, sweet, and simple, and plus, Bond does look pretty cool in it. And you want to see something crazy? Look at this Bond, okay? Now look at the first rendition. Isn't that fucking nuts? Look how far we've come. I guess this short was made specifically for a charity live stream raising money for the Trevor Project, which is pretty fucking cool. I won't spoil any more of it because chances are once this video is through, you'll want more Walten Files stuff. I know I do. So you can go check out Hotline for yourself once we've wrapped up and have a nice, fun, spooky time. But with that, it's finally time for the last episode of the Walten Files. Tape 5, Faces of Grief. Where to even begin with this one? It's basically a full-fledged animated movie centered around the Walten family after Ed and Molly disappear and are presumed dead. The main focus is on Rose. We get to see how this tragedy, and the tragedies to follow, broke her down. It's an incredibly well-executed, heartbreaking tale, and I have no doubt I will not do it justice in this section of the video. Seriously, it's that good. It is one of the best entries in an analog horror series of all time. And remember where we started with the Walten Files. The animation and presentation was seemingly hanging on by a thread, but the story held it all together. But now the story and animation are working hand in hand, and it's fucking amazing. Seriously, when this video is over, treat yourself. Even if you're scared of analog horror stuff, I know that's why a lot of people watch videos like this. They're like, I can't sit down and watch analog horror stuff alone because it scares me. I have to hear some fat clown talk about it. I'm your fat clown, but I'm telling you, go check out Tape 5 for yourself when this is all over with. You won't regret it. It's fantastic. A funeral is held for Ed and Molly, but of course their bodies were never found because Felix buried them where no one would find them. Faces of Grief is actually the name of a film Rose is working on in her wonderful stop-motion animation. Remember, Rose designed the characters for Bond's Burgers. She's an artist, a storyteller, and the story she's telling here is a deeply personal one.
Once upon a time, there was a little sheep lady. This sheep had 3 children of her own. She loved them with her entire heart. She would never do anything to hurt them.
God almighty, dude, I'm gonna fucking cry. This is so sad. Is this the first time a Five Nights at Freddy's adjacent series has been able to make child death sad? Am I crazy? This feels like one of the first times. I mean, Urban Finds at Freddy's was pretty sad too, but what the fuck, Scott Cawthon? Take some notes. Rose is using her filmmaking to cope and distract herself from this horrible situation. Naturally, Rose feels a great deal of anger and hatred towards Felix for what he did. She doesn't know the truth of the situation, but I think anyone with a quarter of a mind could see that Felix is full of shit. As Rose throws herself into her art, Jack seems eerily quiet. And Sophie, well, Sophie's dealing with things in her own way. She's just a kid after all. This has to be pretty fucking strange and a lot to deal with. We see this shot of her sitting with her stuffed bear, and then there's this strange creeping shot coming up behind her. We'll talk more about that later. It'll be important, but just know Sophie's confused and being kind of quiet, and of course, her parents are dealing with a lot too, so she's struggling to find people to confide in and talk with. Rose animates her way through the stages of grief, and when she comes to anger, we get a really disturbing scene. Felix is depicted as a big bad wolf in Rose's story, which is somewhat fitting, but I think big bad stinking drunk coward wolf is a bit more precise.
I hate the wolf. I hate that we all do. He killed the one thing that meant the world to the sheep.
As Rose opens up the caskets, she can't help but picture the mangled bodies of her children. And so, filled with rage, Rose's character finds the wolf. You want to say anything, Jack? Are you not at all concerned about what you're seeing your wife working on here? I mean, we know Felix is full of shit, I won't lie. I don't feel bad for the guy. He killed 2 of Rose's children and is lying about it to protect himself. And for what? An animatronic restaurant that sells burgers? Fuck you, Felix. Take some responsibility for your actions. Now, am I saying he deserves to die? Of course not, because as Batman once said, we don't kill bad guys because bad guys kill bad guys, so that would make us bad guys, Robin. Let's just lock them in a cage for eternity. So do that! Lock Felix up. Have you ever heard about what they do to child murderers in prison? They live hellish lives and then get killed. Oh, maybe I do want him to die, but I want him to go through the proper channels. We're an evolved society, after all. Jack and Rose are both sort of throwing themselves into their work to distract themselves, which leaves poor Sophie to sort of deal with things on her own. Luckily, Jack comes along one day and the two talk about it.
Sophie, you can talk to me about anything.
I don't want you to be mad at me.
Am I ever mad at you?
I guess I still don't understand why I can't feel the same way you and Mom feel about all this.
What do you mean?
Molly and Ed. I still don't feel anything about it. I know I'll never see them again, but I can't feel anything. It's like they're not even gone, just away. I feel selfish. They're my siblings, so what kind of person does that make me? Am I a bad person for thinking that?
Oh, Sophie.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're not a bad person, okay? You're not a bad person. Nobody can control their own feelings. It's not your fault, dear. That's just the way your minds work. Your thoughts don't make you a bad person.
Really?
Of course, really. Our minds just work in funny ways like that. It's nothing to worry about.
Sophie wishes Jack was around more because things with Rose have gotten pretty bad. Jack tries to comfort Sophie, but something tells me he's not handling things very well either.
She isn't strong enough to deal with this.
And you are? That doesn't sound...
Yes, I am Sophie. I can handle this. We keep living, and your mother has a little bit more trouble doing so. Grief, it's an illness. It makes it hard to live, hard to wake up. It hurts to even think.
Are you hurting, Dad?
Of course not, Cricket. I'm strong. How else would I protect you and Mom? Like I'm supposed to.
Okay, I'm starting to get the vibe that Jack is the kind of guy who takes his more problematic emotions and shoves them deep down so he can pretend they're not real. God, I can just picture a lot of much smarter YouTubers than I making video essays on just this installment of the Walten Files, breaking down each character piece by piece. There's so much to go into, so much to analyze and scrutinize about each character. For instance, Sophie gives Jack a picture she drew of him as a hunter bagging a rabbit. Jack's reaction is one of surprise and slight discomfort, most likely because Sophie made his nose look weird, the thing he is most self-conscious about. Eyes might be the window to the soul, but the nose is the garage door to the brain. Man, maybe I could be one of those smart anal cis YouTubers. This shit's easy. I don't know what I meant, but boy do I feel smart. Rose continues working on her film and wonders now if the tragedy was somehow her fault.
What if it's my fault? What if what happened to them is because of me? Had I been there for them, maybe the sheep would still have her family. And maybe, just maybe, she would be happy again. What if I'm the wolf?
Oh god, dude, things are getting really bad for Rose. I don't know what you even do in this situation. It's just so sad. Rose starts hyperventilating and stands outside of her art room, but she hears some odd noises coming from the study. Dude, what the fuck? It's just heartbreaking moment after heartbreaking moment, and it doesn't stop here. Next, we see Jack and Rose going to the police station and hearing what happened to their children. It seems the police believe Felix and believe that Ed and Molly left the car after the accident and fell into the river. The police believe the children are dead and want to know if the Waltons want to press charges against Felix.
Are you going to press charges against Felix Kranken?
No.
What? Why not? It's absolutely his fault. What the fuck, dude? Is Bond's Burgers really that important? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Look how angry Jack looks in the next scene as he leaves work. He's just bottling all this shit up and protecting Felix. But why? Why, Jack? What's the fucking point? Fuck that guy. Jack and Rose enjoy some cigarettes outside the restaurant, and Rose tells Jack how much she's missing Ed and Molly. It's tearing her up inside, and Jack does his best to comfort her. Jack is trying to cheer up Rose, telling her you gotta make the best of a bad situation. It's reassuring, kinda sweet, a little glimmer of light in these dark times. But we know what's about to happen. It was teased in the very first episode. Jack is about to disappear. He's not there for the opening of Bond's Burgers. We heard him supposedly freaking out in his study earlier. He tore up the picture Sophie gave him. The guy is not doing well. I think he's saying all this to try and convince himself it's going to be okay, just as much as he's trying to convince Rose. And in the next scene, we see a very sweet sequence of Jack going into Sophie's room, visiting Ed and Molly's now empty room, and eventually arriving at Rose, and he tells her he's got to leave on some important business. But not important business. He's flip-flopping. He's not being clear. Something's up.
I'll be back soon, say around 7.
Promise me, you'll be back by 7.
Yes, fine. I promise. I'll be fine, Rose.
Why don't you stay here?
Well, it's rather important. Look, I'll be back as soon as I can. Alright?
Please.
Rose, we can't keep doing this. We have to move forward. Hey, it's time we start living again. It's gonna be alright. I promise. I won't be long, dear, okay?
But Jack never comes back. Rose waits at the door for him until she is startled by a phone call.
Hello?
Rose. Rose, can you hear me?
Jack? 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 Please come home. Jack, where are you?
I'm so scared that I need to hear your voice. Because, oh God.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Rosemary.
I can't do it alone.
I just wanted to tell you that everything's gonna be okay and that
Wait!
I love Sophie and that
Please!
I love you.
What the fuck, dude? What happened? Did Jack try to kill Felix and failed or couldn't go through with it so he felt ashamed and ran or what? What the fuck happened to Jack? Again, even though we knew where this was going, it's still a heartbreaking gut punch. We see Rose and Sophie putting up missing posters and it's fucking brutal. I know we're following Rose really closely through all of this, but what about Sophie? This must be a fucking nightmare for her. No wonder she takes pills as an adult to forget about all this. My God. Rose is then seen absent-mindedly hitting the same key on the piano over and over. With each note, a piece of her art appears on screen. Some of them are disturbing and others are totally kick-ass and I want them in my living room. I'll let you decide which is which. But then, Rose notices something on the TV. An ad for Bond's Burgers starring Felix. Seeing the man who killed her children proudly smiling in front of the characters she helped design at a restaurant her now missing husband helped build, it all fills her with rage. And with that, Rose finally seems to have broken, and it is immensely sad. Later, she goes into Sophie's room while she's sleeping.
I'm sorry, Sophie. I killed them. Jack and Molly. I couldn't keep them safe. It's all because of me. Your mother is a killer, Sophie. I want to feel alive again. I want you to be happy. I'm sorry I can't be a good mother.
Oh my God, dude, Sophie looks terrified. This is straight up tearing me up. How the fuck am I supposed to joke about this installment? I know I already have a few times, but still, there's nothing funny about any of this. It's so goddamn sad. I feel so bad for Rose and Sophie. I'm fucking terrified at what's gonna happen next, and I literally have seen this before. Rose goes to the other room to answer the phone, and it's her sister who's checking in on her. She offers to let Sophie come stay with her for a bit, as well as offering other kinds of support, reassuring Rose that she's not alone. Rose doesn't want to hear it though. She's made up her mind and is convinced she's the problem. So she smashes the phone along with the set and characters from her film. It all comes crumbling down. The photos on the wall have all been painted over. The walls of the house are littered with missing posters for Jack. And then we cut to the morning where Sophie is seen waking up alone in an empty house. We hear over the radio that Bond's Burgers is facing closure after 2 more missing persons reports crop up, one of which is Charles, and I assume the other is Susan. Sophie tries to leave, but she seems to be locked in somehow. And then we learn that Rose has gone to Bond's, and it's revealed that she's not allowed in there anymore. Felix has fired her and is threatening to get a restraining order if Rose keeps coming back.
You know you're not allowed in here anymore. Look, I didn't know he'd fire you, Rose. I really didn't. I'm so sorry, but please, let's try to avoid making another scene.
Another?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean, another?
You've been coming in all week. And I don't mean to alarm you, but Mr. Krenkin has been talking about getting a restraining order. Please, I'm not here to hurt you, Rosemary. I just want to help.
God, fuck you, Felix. Just fuck you, dude. People start disappearing, including your business partner and Rose's husband, and your solution is to fire Rose? I know she's not doing great, but come the fuck on, man. This is obviously all your fault. I don't feel one bit bad for you, Felix. I don't care that your wife left you. In fact, I think you deserved it. In fact, I hope you get married again so your next wife can leave you too. Stupid glasses wearing piece of shit. Now, I'm actually angry now. This guy's fucking horrible. I hate him. The worker, who's named Chris, tries to comfort Rose, telling her to seek therapy. Rose mostly ignores this and says she's a bad mother. Her evidence for this is in her paintings, which have grown graphic and bloody. She's even painting Felix now, and it doesn't take a Harvard professor to figure out that Rose might not care for that fellow one bit. It's honestly a sick painting, though. Yet another Rose Walten work I want in my living room, or possibly above my turlet.
I found myself painting blood. Jack is there. Sophie is there. And your boss. I wish I could say I didn't mean it. I wish I could tell myself that it's just some impulsive, thoughtless art. But I can't. I can't. How horrible is that, Chris? Huh? How sick is that? The same place night after night. Isn't that sickening? What if you were the one in my paintings? What would you think of me then? Huh? Come on then, say it. Please just say it. Tell me I'm a bad mother. I need you to say it. Come on,
Rose.
say it.
You're not a bad mother, Miss Walten.
You can come to, we're going to the zoo.
Oh, Rose, what do you even say to a woman who's lost 2 of their children and had their husband disappear to God knows where? And poor Sophie doesn't have anyone left at this point. Even Felix doesn't have anyone. And even he should have somebody in his life, like a cellmate or a small gremlin that randomly stabs his balls every 7 to 16 seconds. Rose is left alone in the restaurant far past closing time, and she makes her way behind the curtain where she finds Bond. She thinks of the night she showed the design to Jack for the first time, and she takes the animatronic into her arms and begins to dance. Maybe this big scary rabbit reminds her of Jack and their time working together. Maybe this is a way of once again drawing the connection between Jack and Bond, or maybe it's just a brief moment where Rose was able to forget about everything and live out a small fantasy of dancing on stage to bring joy to children alongside her creation. It's hard to say exactly what this could mean, but as I always say, guessing and being wrong is part of the fun. Then we smash cut to a nightmare. Rose is a sheep now, and after exploring for a bit, she follows the sounds of gunshots to find Jack standing over a deer. The deer has been shot in the side of the head, but is still wriggling around and screaming in pain. Jack runs away and Rose chases after him. It looks like there's some kind of wolf or something on the ground on the path that's been shot by Jack as well. Maybe he got the big bad wolf after all. Oh, actually, no, because Felix is still alive and very not well, so who the fuck knows. Finally, Rose catches up to him.
God's testing me. He's testing us both.
I can't do it alone anymore, Jack.
I'm so sorry for everything, Rosie. For who I was.
Please come home, Jack. Please come home.
I want you to forget about me. You'll be alright. Just hold on. A little longer.
Jack, please.
Mom? Mom?
Mom?
Oh no, dude, I hope that doesn't mean what I think it means. I know it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. What am I doing? I wrote that? Why did I write a Biggie lyric? I need to read the room when I'm fucking writing this shit. But this segment ends with a rabbit caught in a snare suspended in the air. When Rose tries to follow Jack, it's Sophie's voice that holds her back. Rose says she can't do it anymore and tries to join him. But she doesn't. Maybe Rose is just imagining the worst possible scenario, or maybe Jack just couldn't handle it anymore. I think this is suggesting that Jack took his own life. Whether that's true is very much up for debate because A, it's a dream, B, Jack is seen killing animals, so maybe he went to kill the big bad wolf, Felix, and failed. And C, it's just a lot. Sophie and Rose needed Jack, especially after all this. They're suffering too, and whether he knew it or not, Jack needed them too, but he just kept bottling up his emotions, saying he was too strong to be phased, saying they just needed to keep moving forward. I mean, what can I say, man? I'm just bummed out. Can we take a brief intermission so I can look at that funny bunny I liked from earlier? Ah, there we go. All right, nice. Good little reset there. All right, I'm ready to have my heart torn out again. Speaking of which, Sophie is checking in on her mother, and she's being very sweet. She asks her to come downstairs and watch Carol Burnett with her, but Rose says nothing. Sophie says, "I love you," and heads off. After some time, strange music begins to play, and Rose moves to investigate. She sees Sophie has made her way to the attic and is watching old home movies. Right now, she's on the one about Jack and Rose's wedding. We see Jack and Felix smiling, sharing a drink and a laugh, and in comes Rose, who asks Sophie what she's doing. Sophie says she's just watching some old films, and it seems they've captured the attention of Rose for the time being, though it's clear she's not comfortable with Sophie watching these. Get ready, I'm just gonna let this scene play. It's fucking brutal.
Here, I'll turn it off. Sorry.
I'll leave it on. I want to see. You shouldn't be playing these.
I know. That was stupid of me.
Why are you playing these?
It just... Are you sure you should be watching this?
Shh, it's fine, it's fine. Just let me have this. You were so happy. I almost forgot how perfect everything was. What am I doing to myself?
That was today, wasn't it?
Please, turn it off.
15 years ago?
I said turn it off. Why won't you listen?
Please don't be mad at me. I feel happy watching these. They make me feel safe.
And I don't. Sophie, please turn it off. Now.
I'm sorry. I just want to see you too.
Sophie.
It's just like it's been so long since
Why, Sophie? Why? Why the fuck did you play those films?
I'm sorry if I hurt you, Mom. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's just... I don't know what's going on anymore with me. I don't know what to do anymore, Mom. This is all I have left to remember who...
What?
With them gone and you like this? There's nobody here for me anymore. I feel so alone and I hate it. I hate being left alone, left to think.
Please.
It hurts, Mom, okay? It hurts to see you like this.
Just stop it, Sophie.
I don't want to upset you, Mom. I love you, but I don't know how to help you. I don't think we're helping each other.
Stop it. Please.
I've been talking to an angel. He says he can help us. Help you.
Stop it, Sophie.
You know how it sounds, but he's real. I've met him. I'm too scared to tell you.
Shut up.
I'm telling the truth. I don't understand what's happening, but I can't keep pretending that nothing's going on anymore.
I told you to drop it.
I'm scared, Mom. I don't know what to do.
I told
you. I hate this empty house. I'm sick of living like this.
Give me the film.
I just want to see you happy.
Sophie, give me the film.
Get away from me.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You know, there's barely been a spooky animatronic in this whole episode, and I don't think I give a single fuck. There are a few scenes I can think of in analog horror that make me more sad and afraid than this one. Seeing Rose on her wedding day so happy compared to how she is now is devastating. And when she reaches towards Sophie and Sophie recoils in fear, good God almighty, I could fucking cry. Poor Sophie has been left behind in all this. It's just so tragic. And Rose has pretty much turned her whole life into a temple dedicated to guilt, grief, and sorrow. And meanwhile, Sophie is still there. She's just a kid. She's trying to be there for her mother, but Rose just can't handle it, and it's fucking heartbreaking. When Rose turns into the wolf and Sophie's eyes fill with tears, I mean, God, what the fuck? What are you doing, Walten Files? What are you doing to me? This ain't nothing like Five Nights at Freddy's. Freddy Fazbear would never make me feel horribly sad for make-believe animated people like this. Rose takes off running, horribly ashamed and unsure of what to do. She runs into the forest where the storage facility will one day be, and down towards the river where Ed and Molly supposedly drowned. She sticks her head underwater when suddenly a white hand emerges from the depths. In an instant, Rose is transported to Wonderland in the form of a black sheep. She sees a playground, Sophie's white bear, and after a while, she finds Ed and Molly.
I'm sorry.
You shouldn't be here.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. You're a good mother. You deserve a good life.
Oh my God. Thank God. Oh, Jesus, you okay? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't move just yet. Wait. Mrs. Walten, hey. It's okay. It's just me. The kid called us.
Damn, Sophie might be the best character ever. Full stop. Move over Optimus Prime, move over Iron Man, move over Jesus, the one from The Big Lebowski who's a sex offender, not the other Jesus, and also move over other Jesus. I mean, she's had to put up with so much since the accident, yet still, she's looking out for her mother, even when her mother is in no state to look out for her. Hey, Martin, Walten Files guy, I swear to God, if you kill off Sophie and turn her into a robot bear or something, I am going to be so fucking pissed, I swear to God. So Rose is saved by a police fella who wants to take her back to the station to get help. Rose then starts choking him, angry that he took her away from Ed and Molly, but she relents, and the officer seems to understand that she's very distressed and needs medical attention, so he takes her back to the station. And this shot of Rose here is just haunting. She's changed so much from the start of this installment. You could say through Rose, we're seeing all of the faces of grief? Okay. Rose is put in a fairly nice cage at the police station, and Rose's sister is coming to pick up Sophie. The officer who's currently looking after Sophie is horrified at the state of the house, and I won't lie, that line hit me really hard. I don't know why exactly. It's just the home is decayed just like Rose, but it's never been just Rose in there. Sophie's been there the whole time. God, stop making me feel things, Walten Files. Enough is enough. Show me Felix falling down the stairs or accidentally drinking diarrhea or something. Come on. Rose is left alone for a brief moment. A very brief moment, but in that time frame, something strange happens. The radio begins acting strange, the lights flicker, and then suddenly it's dark, and we see the ghostly form of Bon.
Has reality failed you once again, my dear?
Oh shit, Bond let her out, and look at the size of that fucking rabbit. Good God almighty, that thing's huge. That could feed a country. Also, notice the missing persons posters on the wall. We see Jack, Susan, and then a wanted poster for some random guy. Now, if that random guy winds up being Bond, I'm gonna be kind of pissed, but I don't know. There's something about his head shape that makes me think it could be Bond. I mean, I guess it could be cool. This random guy could have a cool backstory, but you know what? I'd rather it be Jack or some like ancient evil called the Felix torturer or something, so I'm just just gonna headcanon this guy into a child molester and move on. Is that a thing yet? Can we start headcanoning people into things? Like if someone is mean to me at the gym, can I headcanon them into a cockless goblin who eats gravel? Oh wait, I think that's just called pretending. God, I'm a fucking idiot sometimes. I swear to God, I thought I was onto something there. This is like when I was trying to pitch a podcast like 5 years ago, and my pitch was, what if we did it where we're like lying down in sleeping bags? That was a real thing I said to people that I respect and that I thought was a good idea. I shouldn't be allowed to say things sometimes, I think is what we're learning. Rose escapes custody and follows the fat-ass rabbit all the way to Bond's Burgers, and some of these shots of Rose walking are just amazing. This one with the camera underneath her as the sign is shining above, it looks so cool. I also like how the drawings of the characters on the walls resemble the missing person posters in a way, and also how it's only 15 cents for a burger. Gee whiz, you're telling me I could go in there with $1 and get 1, 2, 3, 12 burgers? That's a hell of a deal. The rabbit is leading her backstage, and wow, I don't like how that thing looks one bit. As Rose pushes on, she sees the ghosts of Susan and Charles behind her. Yo, no joke, that nearly made me shit myself while writing this. Like, my pants were almost ruined, and they ain't cheap. I only wear the finest shorts in the biz, and one from Walmart. But it's climax time! Good God, do I love this part. Just watch.
I know where he is, Rosie. Follow me.
Hey, why's Bond got rocket for? That ain't yours, stupid bunny. Give it back. Also, straight up didn't notice this on my first watch through, but when Rose goes backstage, there is absolutely someone watching her from afar. See right there? I swear to God, if that's Felix, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. As if that guy couldn't get any worse. He sees Rose getting lured backstage and just lets her go. Does he have no soul? Oh wait, maybe Felix doesn't have a soul, and that's why Bond hasn't killed him. There'd be no point. You can't possess nothing without no soul. But finally, Rose finds Bond in his animatronic form holding Rocket. Rose asks to hold the doll and Bond hands it over without hesitation.
I never thought I'd see this again. When I designed it for Molly, I wanted it to be something she could hold on to no matter what. The look on her face.
You. Oh, you. What would I do without you?
It's funny how things never go as expected.
I don't see the humor in it. No, not one bit. It's a terrible feeling to lose control of your thoughts and your mind and yourself.
Have you been there too? That lack of control?
I am in control. I've corrected myself. I'm getting better now. I'm beautiful.
Gonna say it a billion times, the guy voicing Bond is incredible. Everyone does a great job in this episode. I love Rose and Sophie especially, but Bond, there's something so eerie and weird about his performance. The sound design helps a lot too. It's just great.
Who are you then?
I am a canvas like you. We are canvases, only yours is destroyed, rotting, and scribbled all over. Oh,
seen mine torn apart, burnt to the last fiber, rotting.
Torn apart, burnt to the last fiber, and rotting. Gotta say, if Jack is possessing Bon and he took his own life, that's one hell of a fucking way to do it. I'm leaning more towards Felix tying up loose ends now, though, after seeing that shadow person in the back. I think Felix is so afraid of being caught and found out that he could have possibly killed Jack or done something to him. The question is, if Bon is Jack, why the fuck is he acting like this? He's acting, excuse my language, loonier than a tune.
And who are you now?
I am Bon. Bon the Hare. It's your work that gave me an identity when I needed it most. When myself no longer existed.
Oh, I kind of like that. I like that Bon is very fond of Rose because she created the identity he uses now. That's a super cool idea, and once again, it makes it more difficult to believe that this character is Jack. Maybe Jack is still out there somewhere. Rose says she's not sure she exists anymore, feeling like she's been peeled apart bit by bit. While she says this, Bon's attention is turned towards the employee-only door, likely because it bears his very own face, and he was just talking about that. But remember, we've seen a version of this scene before. We saw a shadowy figure with a long nose / cigarette standing there after the deed was done, and we just saw a shadowy figure earlier. Pretty sure that's Felix. Fuck you, Felix. But anyways, Bon claims he can fix Rose.
Look at me, Rosemary. I can fix that. I can fix you. Please, just let me fix you.
Frankly, I don't think there's anything left to fix. When I came in, you told me you knew where he was. What did that mean? What did that mean?
I know where we all are. Everyone. We are all up in Wonderland together.
What are you talking about?
Here. Why don't we ask the kids? Molly, Ed, your mother's worried about you. Easy, easy. Settle down. It's alright. They're alright. Look, they're still alive. We all found a way to keep going beyond our end. We found new beginnings, new life, new bliss.
That makes no sense. This is impossible. Can they still hear me? Are they okay?
It must have taken them some time adjusting to their new lives, as did I. But we've all bounced back perfectly.
So that's it then, that's what it takes. No. No, I'm not like them, though. Am I? I'm not like you. I'm still here. I'm still alive.
Oh, Rosie. What good is living when you're already dead?
Well, shit, now I'm back to thinking Bon is Jack because he called Rose Rosie. I really have no idea, I have no clue. I was hoping I would, but fucking nope, can't crack it. I like the idea of Jack bringing over his friends and family into Wonderland so they can all be together again, and how that all started with Molly and Ed, but man, Bon is just such a freaky weirdo, I can't commit to the answer. Who the fuck talks like this? Jack had an accent, but it's a normal human accent. Bon talks like certain words taste better than other ones, so he chews on those for an extra long time. But anyways, we can see where this is leading, so let's just get it over with.
It's all right. I've got you. I'm here.
Promise me it's going to be alright. Promise me you're going to fix me.
I promise. Now, I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to tell you a story. A better story.
Interesting. I absolutely did not get this part on my first watch through either. It's a rabbit and a leg of lamb, right? I thought this was like a glitched title card for Faces of Grief, but I think it's Bond's version of the story. He says bliss at one point while talking to Rose. It's just hard to hear because he speaks like he's trying to make the air around him ejaculate. Bond begins telling the story of Rose being lost, looking for something she can't find, and eventually she comes upon a well like the one we see in Bunny Farm. Rose wished for a way home, and out of the well came a rabbit. Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. Out of the well came a rabbit.
She found a rabbit.
God, I love that delivery so much. Anyways, I'll let Bond finish talking.
The rabbit told her he could show her the way home. A new home. A much better home. One free of pain and hurt and sorrow and shame. But getting there was no easy task. The sheep must understand. Beauty is pain.
Aw, he leaned in for a kiss. Seems a bit fast. Jack hasn't been gone that long, Mrs. Walten. No, I'm just kidding. Bond proceeds to tear Rose apart, and I ain't being cute. He tears her apart, and it's pretty fucking brutal. It upsets me a great deal. Mostly because I like Rose. I just got to know Rose. I feel bad for Rose, and to see this is just awful. And I knew it was coming. I just didn't know it'd be like this.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The sheep obliged and joined him in his wonderland.
Wow. The end. Nah, not really. Check how much time is left on the video, my dude. We still got some shit to cover. This is just how things end in Wonderland. In the real world, it is far more disturbing.
Nobody can hurt you now.
Nobody can hurt me now. You are beautiful. I am beautiful. You are happy. Say it. You are happy. I am happy. You are loved. I am loved. I love you. You love me.
Holy shit, dude. Rose replying to Bond's I love you with you love me is fucking brutal. I don't like that one bit. I'm starting to think this Bond guy isn't very nice. I mean, he's no Felix, but that guy's basically the Hitler of animatronic restaurant chains. Well, except for that one guy. But man, fuck you, Bond. You killed a lady I grew to care about and turned her into a dang old sheep. And fuck you, Felix. And to a lesser extent, fuck you, Jack. Where'd you go, buddy? After this, I really want to fucking know. Now that was pretty cinematic. Pretty heartbreaking and terrible, but also cinematic. But would you believe we're not done yet? Yep, that's right. We gotta hear Felix talking in the mystery tape. Felix is being questioned about the events that took place on July 19th, the day Rose disappeared.
You're aware this was the night Rosemary Walten was detained and escaped from police custody, correct?
God, help that woman. Yes, no, I'm aware.
Oh, Felix, if anyone should be asking God for anything, it's you. You should be asking for forgiveness. And I, for one, can't wait to hear God say, what? Fuck, no, Felix, go to super hell. Felix says he wasn't in contact with Rose after firing her, but then we get a bombshell.
Look, Felix, I'm gonna cut to the chase. Shortly after Mrs. Walten escaped police custody, we received several reports about a woman's screams being heard down Cross Street. Sometime between 1 to 2 a.m., searching the area eventually led us to your establishment.
Bond's Burgers, yes.
Yeah, the burger joint. When my guys arrived to check out the place, you were there, Mr. Kranken. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Come again?
What were you doing inside of the restaurant at 4 in the morning?
Is this some kind of joke?
What's a joke, Mr. Kranken? Is throwing a fit about search warrants and denying my men entry, all the while actively hindering an investigation into one of your own colleagues when she could be God knows where by now.
Yeah, answer that one, Felix. We saw you, fucker. We saw you watching Rose walk off to her death. And you know what Felix's defense is? It's really good. Are you ready?
Look, Derek, we have nothing but the utmost respect for you and the boys in blue. But listen, we're a family business, and we pride in having built a place of good fun and safety. You can see why we wouldn't want the police making a scene in a place that brings nothing but joy to the community.
You're not answering my question. Point blank, what were you doing in Bond's Burgers in the early hours of July 20th?
Look, I gotta admit, things have been pretty tough for me lately. I was sleeping there.
You were sleeping there?
Yes, that's correct.
I see. And do you usually sleep in the restaurant, or is this, a little trice?
Look, this whole ordeal has been horrible on this town. It's hurt us too, more than anyone. But this place, this company, it brings hope and happiness to people. Surely you understand, right?
You know, I bet in Felix's dumb fucking head he thinks he's doing the Waltons a favor by keeping the restaurant alive. Whether he knows they're possessing the animatronics or not, I bet he feels like he's making up for his mistakes by keeping the dream that he basically destroyed on his own alive. You know, I'm doing it for Jack, that guy who mysteriously disappeared after those 2 kids of his I was driving mysteriously disappeared. Bonds is a place for families. It inspires hope. Hey, Felix, when the fuck has Chuck E. Cheese ever inspired hope? How about fucking never, Felix? Happiness? Sure, but hope? Fuck you, you sell burgers and kill children. You can't afford a motel in the 70s? You have fucking robots, you cock.
Don't you think it's quite strange that 4? Oh no, sorry, wait a minute. I got my numbers wrong. 6 people vanish without a trace in the span of a month, all with ties to you?
Am I under arrest, officer?
No, Mr. Kranken.
I'll see myself out. Sorry I couldn't be of any use.
Fan theory time. What if Felix gets AIDS in the 80s and dies of AIDS in the 80s? Next, we get to see Sophie getting questioned, but she doesn't really say anything. Naturally, she's pretty fucking shaken up. They ask if they know where her mom went and about the state of her home, but Sophie just stares blankly, and her interview ends. Then we get the real kicker, Rose's journal. When I first watched through the Walten Files, I remember reading this late at night after seeing so much crazy shit, and it's fucking brutal. The writing is spectacular. It's very short and simple, but you can literally see Rose's condition deteriorate as the journal carries along, and it's handled pretty subtly most of the time. I'm not going to read the whole thing here because I don't wanna, but it's great. The last real entry is on the night of Rose's disappearance, and she just writes, "Happy anniversary," because of course, the night of Rose's disappearance was the same as her wedding anniversary with Jack. And then there are blank pages and this fucked up looking drawing. What the fuck is that, Rose? Did you design an animatronic boy with hands for feet? Is that meant to be the clown from before? What the fuck is that? Then we hear of the investigation on the Waltens. You could say we're hearing about the files on the Waltens. Know what I mean, fellow Walter files? Remember that from the start of the video? Don't think I wrote that for 20 full pages, but now it's back. Walter file. I'm selling t-shirts. I'm not selling t-shirts. I lied. I'm not gonna do that.
None of us understand how Mrs. Walten left the station that night. We had 3 officers in the building as it happened, and when we checked the camera...
Now, what do you think Bond did to get Rose out past the camera so they wouldn't be seen? Do you think he turned the camera off, maybe? Maybe there's a big white flash and when it wears off, Rose is just gone, huh? Fucking watch this, okay? You're not prepared for what Bond did to cover the camera. It's amazing. What the fuck am I supposed to say to that? Good morning? Apparently that led the police to Bond's Burgers and a BSI, but they didn't find anything. Still, people think Felix is a serial killer, and they hate BSI, and Bond's is closed down now. Now, all of that is pretty standard, but what if I were to tell you the police did discover one more thing? You know how Rose covered her walls in missing posters? Well, the police took those into evidence, and by God, they seem to be changing and warping somehow. What the fuck? That's like super supernatural. What kind of ghost can haunt fucking paper? If you can possess paper, you can fuck up a ton of the earth. Jesus, is Bond a fucking god of the old realm or something? Gotta say though, even though these have a role in the story now, I still think some of these faces look super fucking silly. Look at Jack's forehead here. Why is a ghost doing this? What's the point? What are you gaining? I'm gonna be real. I have no clue what this means. I genuinely have no idea what the purpose or significance of this could possibly be. And I'm guessing when I do find out why this is happening, I'll think it's stupid. So let's just move on. The piggy, can't say that. Don't know why I wrote that. He's a nice man. The police officer finishes talking. And the last thing we see is presumably Sophie's nightstand in 1982. We see a picture of her relatively happy and she grabs her pills that helps her forget. Guess she's not going to Bond's for a while. And that is the end of the Walten Files, at least for right now. Hey guys, 3 a.m. Mr. Cow here. I got people sleeping in my house right now, so I'm going to try to keep my voice down, but I have some more stuff I want to say on the Walten Files. Okay, fuck, we're already at the bad start. Faces of Grief is kind of a big episode, and I noticed while editing it that I did a lot of recapping and commentary, the occasional jokes, stuff like that, and I got some of my thoughts out, but good lord, did I realize after editing that I had a lot more to say. Specifically when it came to anal cysts, and as we all know, anal cysts hits best at 3 a.m. First off, just wanted to say, because I'm sure some people are leaving it in the comments, yes, I saw pretty much most of the secrets in this series, at least I feel I did. I know there were a bunch of little Easter eggs and stuff in Bunny Farm I didn't address. There's a reason for that. A, this video would be 6 hours long if I went over every little Easter egg, and B, Easter eggs don't make the story. It might give you hints at it, and we go over some of those hints like you already saw in this 2.5 hour long video, but it's not the actual actual story. You don't need them. They're nice, they're cool, it's nice to see that attention to detail, but I didn't feel they were overly important to the big picture, so I didn't talk about all of them. But yes, I saw the cool stuff in Bunny Farm. Faces of Grief, good God, I could watch this thing over and over again, and I'm sure when I do again, I will spot things that I didn't mention in this video, and I will be kicking myself over it. That being said, there are some big plot points in Faces of Grief that I wanted to go over briefly and then give you my big swing of a theory here in this section, because I forgot to in my original script. So during the confrontation in the attic between Sophie and Rose, Sophie mentions speaking with an angel, and this is something I alluded to earlier in the segment when that camera shot is creeping in at Sophie. The way I see it, that's either Bon or this weird white bear guy that we saw in the previous installments. I think after what we saw in Faces of Grief, though, it is likely Bon, because we see Bon leave the burgery. What do you call it? Burger joint, I guess is what the cop calls it. I'll just call it a burger joint. So Bon possibly was also trying to lure Sophie to Bon's Burgers. And we know that Sophie has a larger role to play in this story. I mean, she was the protagonist of Bunny Farm. She's mentioned in the first 2 tapes. So it seems like Bon's ultimate plan does take into account Sophie as well. Now, what that plan is kind of up to your interpretation of who Bon is, which still, at this point, as much as I want to say it's Jack Walten, that's really hard for me to do. I mean, I guess it's possible this ghostly apparition is Jack in Wonderland and he's just lost it, and when he went to confront Felix that one night when he disappeared, Felix killed him and tried burning his body and leaving it in the woods or something, or threw him into a furnace, who knows, and he got mangled, and then he comes out of that, all of this rage that he has, and he's like, I'm gonna get my family back. I already have Ed and Molly, I'm gonna try to get everyone back with it. And here's another thing too, Felix knows what's going on at Bon's. He has to. He can't be that stupid. I know there's that line about him drinking and forgetting things, but it gets to a certain point where it's like, okay, that kind of feels like a story crutch to be like, oh no, it's not Felix. He's so drunk all the time, he can't even remember that all of these people died and disappeared in his burger joint. You know what I mean? It just feels cheap. Or is it the perfect cover for a not so serial killer? He's not really a serial killer. He's more of an accomplice to Bond. And no, I'm not saying Bond and Felix are working together. I don't think that's what's happening here at all. I think Felix is aware of what's happening, doesn't really know why, and just wants to keep this business alive because it's all he has left at this point. But I think there is zero possibility he doesn't know what's going on in that location. I mean, the dude slept in the building the night Rose was killed, and her screams were heard throughout Brighton. You're telling me Felix never went into that back room to check out what was going on and saw the bloody animatronics and kept the police out? No, I think Felix kept the police out because he knew what was going on, but he thought he could salvage things. He's kind of delusional, and like I said, this is all he has left. He has no family. At this point, he has no friends. They're either dead or have abandoned him because he killed their children or their siblings. So yeah, Felix knows he is complicit in all of this, drunk or not. It's him there in the building, he knows. And then there's the thing that was really eating at me the whole time that I forgot to write about in my script, which is the idea of Jack being a hunter. I mean, after going through Faces of Grief again, there are dozens of references to Jack being a hunter, not just with the picture with Sophie, but with pictures on the wall, as well as a picture on the mirror when he's getting ready in the morning. Now, this mirror has nice little sticky notes on it, sort of affirmations, things to get Jack ready for the day. And amongst those affirmations are a picture of Ed and Molly and a picture of himself holding a gun that I'm guessing was drawn by Sophie. And given how Jack reacted to the picture that Sophie drew for him earlier in the episode that he tore up when he was freaking out in his study, I think he's kind of conflicted about this idea of him being a hunter, him being the protector, the provider of the family. When he's banging on Felix's door earlier in the series, he says he'll kill him if he did anything to Ed and Molly. And you know, that's really easy to say in the moment when you're terrified and worried, but once it actually happens, once you're in that position, it becomes a lot more difficult. I think Jack is sort of torn between his human nature and his more animalistic nature. Or I guess a better way of saying it would be he's torn between the ideas of forgiveness versus vengeance. The fact is, he doesn't press charges on Felix. He wants to move forward. He tries to encourage Rose and Sophie to move forward and keep living their lives. And just as we see on his mirror on that fateful morning when he disappeared, he's trying to convince himself that he can move forward and forgive. He says God's testing him. He's testing the entire Walten family. And the way I see it for Jack is this ends one of three ways. Either he tried to kill Felix and and Felix killed him. He wanted to kill Felix or wanted to move on with his life and couldn't, so he took his own life. Or the stress and pressure of everything was just too much and he ran away. But going back to the idea of the hunter and all these pictures of him hunting, I think that Jack feels like he's supposed to kill Felix. He's supposed to go after him and put him down for what he did to his family. And I think at the core, that's what really is tearing Jack up inside. The fact that he feels like he's supposed to be doing this thing that is against his better nature, against his morals, his better judgment. And you know, given that there are so many clues early on in the series that allude to Jack being Bond, I'm gonna take a swing and try to explain how Jack could be Bond somehow. So what if Jack felt like it was his duty to deal with Felix, but when he went out to do it, he realized he could not, and this led to him making that phone call to Rose and ultimately taking his own life. But what if in doing so, he accidentally released this other side of him, the side of him that's supposed to protect his family, bring them back together? And this side of him is the Bond that we see. Now, of course, that's not a perfect answer because, of course, Bond is mangled. He says he's burned and he was rotting and all this stuff. So maybe you could say Felix killed him and disposed of his body, and all that rage and anguish is what wound up inside of Bond, but Jack is still in there somewhere. The Jack and Bond debate is such a central part to the Walten Files because there isn't really anyone else we can point to say they're that character. They are Bond. That makes sense. Is it Felix's anguish that's manifested inside of Bond? Well, we've already seen that's not really how Wonderland works. It's a limbo between the afterlife or the void of nothingness that comes after you die. It's where your soul hangs out for a little bit while it copes with the fact that it does not have a canvas to print itself on any longer. But what if it could have a canvas? Well, then you get the situation with Bond's Burgers. So it's got to be Jack or some complete unknown like I was talking about earlier, but I don't find that as satisfying. And sure, you can make it satisfying. You could do a whole storyline. That's great. I think this has to be Jack somehow. And I think that's really the central mystery of the Walten Files. It's not really, you know, who's Bond. It's how is Jack Bond? How are these two connected? What is the deal with all of this? Why is he going after Rose? Why is he seemingly talking to Sophie? And why does Sophie view him as an angel? Is that how Bond presents himself? Or is that a separate character entirely? Is that the weird white bear guy that we saw earlier? Probably not. He never appears anywhere in this entire episode Faces of Grief, unless I missed him somewhere. Let me know. I'm sure if I missed something, that would be it, because it would explain a lot of things. But again, this is really the strength of the Walten Files in terms of storytelling. The fact that I can sit here after working on a video for 2 straight days, recording it for 2 straight days, writing it for a little less than 2 straight days. I watched it. It's been a long process is the point I'm trying to make, and I've been having a great time, and I still want to talk about it even after all of this. You know how easy it would be for me to just play the last 2 minutes of the video with my little outro? It'd be easy peasy. It's not a very good outro. That's why we're doing this in the first place, but still, it'd be easy. And yet here I am, still talking about it because I'm fascinated by it, and I love it. So please, leave your theories and thoughts in the comment section below. I'm gonna eat that shit up. I cannot wait to see what other people think about this series, especially since I go into this blind and I don't really know. I know that some people are confused over who Bond is and don't think Jack is Bond. That's about it. I don't know fucking anything else. But if you ask me right now, and not the me from the past that doesn't know whether or not Bond is Jack or not and that it's conflicting, who gives a fuck? If you ask me right now, I think that Jack is Bond. I think the real question is, how is that possible, right? I think that's what people are debating about the most, is how is that even physically possible? And I think that's what we're going to learn as the series carries along. Somehow, Jack Walten turned into a monster. I think the most likely answer is that the death of his children and him bottling up all those emotions eventually led to him doing something that led to his death, either taking his own life or facing Felix, and Felix killed him and Felix destroyed his body, and that's why Bond is so mangled. But then all that pent up anger and all those emotions were released in Wonderland in the form of Bond, and that's how we wound up where we are today. But hey, it's just a theory. Remember that guy? Remember Mark Patrick or whatever his name is? I'm a theory. Look at me. I'm the theory. I'm theory guy. But with that said, I have a lot more editing to do, a lot of music to add, and a thumbnail still to make, and I've only got 5 hours to do it. So I'm gonna get back on that. I'll send you guys to the outro. Please leave your comments down below, and I guess I'll see you in 2 seconds. Well, that was a fucking trip and a half. That got fucking bonkers there at the end. And to think, I used used to think this series was lame. That was fucking awesome. It might start rough and frustrate me occasionally, but The Walten Files is easily one of the most interesting analog horror stories I've ever seen. I wasn't expecting it to simultaneously take a more grounded direction and a more supernatural direction at the same time. I mean, I was expecting like goofy FNAF shit, where yeah, kids die, but they just turn gray and we don't get to know their parents for the most part. We don't hear about that side of it. And after seeing The Walten Files, I want to see more stuff like this. It doesn't have to be super heavy and in-depth like The Walten Files, but just exploring the existential horror in settings like this is incredibly entertaining and intriguing, and the real-life horror that can come from situations like this. I mean, I really did fall in love with these characters. Not these ones, fuck the animatronics. I'm talking about the people, the Waltens. I am very much invested in those characters and this story. It's crazy, and hey, I'll even give the same credit to Felix. I don't think I've ever hated a man as much as I hate Felix. But don't quote me on that, I have a lot of hate in my heart. It was an absolute joy to watch this and to see the incredible improvements made from episode to episode. I'm gonna do the side-by-side again. Ready? First appearance of Bond, last appearance of Bond. Like, isn't that insane? Like, what the fuck? It's super impressive. Now, we covered a ton of shit here today, and I think we're left with two big questions. Who is Bond, and where is Jack? Kinda seems like those two questions would answer each other, but I'm not satisfied with my answers. I like everything else I said in this video, probably gotta edit some of that stuff out. I can think of a few instances, but these two questions are still eating at my brain. I can't wait to see what happens next in this series, and if you can't either, then make sure to subscribe to the Walten Files channel so you're ready when it comes. I know I am. I seriously can't stop thinking about it. I feel like there's some piece I'm missing that'll solve the Jack and Bond questions, but I just can't figure out what it is right now. I'm leaning more towards Jack being Bond, and he's just gone a bit loony in the afterlife because of his bottled up guilt and rage, but I'm flip-flopping like pancakes, so I'm open to suggestions. Let me know in the comments below. But with that, it's time for me to turn out the lights, climb under the covers, and pretend I'm asleep 8 hours so people think I'm human. Thanks for watching. Hope this video made you a Waltophile like me and all those other freaks like me. Blah, blah, eat pussy. Go to fuckfelixcrankton.com to sign the petition to have Felix executed by the winner of The Masked Singer 2026. Goodbye. What the fuck was I on when I wrote this script? Jesus Christ.